Hello, hello, peace, peace, peace. Shout out to everybody in the building. Peace, 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 peace. We're going to get started right now. Family, I'm starting this now. I'm doing this live stream in the middle of the day because today I had a doctor's appointment, but somehow it got turned from a doctor's appointment into, instead of me going in, into them saying, oh, it's supposed to be a phone call appointment. So now I'm home. I'm just waiting for the phone call, right? So I'm just thinking, this was something I was meaning to do that I never got a chance to do. So I might as well just do it now. I might as well just do it now. And if I get my phone call for the doctor in the middle of the show, hey, it is what it is. But yeah, shout out to everybody in the building. This shouldn't be long. This shouldn't take long. Shout out to Lord of Slaughter in the building. You already know, red, black, and green. Shout out to User. You already know I'm always going to defend Africans. I'm always going to defend all black people. In fact, that's what this show is about right now, defending black people from slander. Shout out to the boogeyman in the building. Thank you for the fire emojis. Shout out to Beat in the building. Thank you for the fire emoji. Like, that's be active. Yeah, be active. Yeah. Shout out to everybody in the building. Family, make sure you're supporting the stream any way you can. PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, super thanks, super chat, super sticker, gifts, give somebody a membership, or just go hit that join button and get your own membership. Also, you can support. There's other ways to support. Remember, I got a strike on my channel. I'm outside that algorithm, but your comments, you hitting that reaction heart, you hitting that like button, that is support that helped me. That's forcing me back into the algorithm. So that's much appreciated if you do that. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the bell. But yeah, let's get started. Shout out to everybody in the building. I want to start here. I think this is a good place to start. Like, may as well not even start bad. Shout out to everybody in the building. Can y'all see my screen? All right. This is FD Signifier. Again, he kind of like inspired. I'm not going to say he inspired this video, but it's like I just seen this from him. I didn't watch the video, but he's talking about DreamCon. So I want to get into this. And I think this is a good place to start it. Shout out to Benevolent in the building. Thank you for the crown. But yeah, let's start here. Let's see what he's talking about.
I clicked, all I did was search DreamCon, and these are the videos that came up, right?
But I be damned if I get turned down, baby, I'm not letting up. Baby, I just want to.
People are calling it GoonCon, and I just have some things to say. Yeah, Kira Noir was on one of these videos.
In fact, I'm gonna bring it back a little bit. Yeah, but we're gonna see.
Came up, right?
But I be damned if I get turned down, baby, I'm not letting up. Baby, I just want to.
People are calling it GoonCon.
What is that?
And I
wait, tell me, I gotta bring that back again. What is that? That's a condom?
Right?
But I be damned if I get turned down, baby, I'm not letting up. Baby, I just want to.
People are calling it GoonCon, and I just have some things to say. Yeah, Kira Noir was on one of these videos. I might have to say that later. Let's.
I'm here with. Like no other, you can smell her coming because she smell like.
Yeah, there's Kira Noir. Shout out to Kira Noir. She's in this next episode of Goon World. Believe it or not. So we see it. I need y'all to understand something. This is anti-black. Thank you, loud sleepers. Loud sleepers.
Okay. I'm kind of new to this. Is DreamCon supposed to be like the black people? Because I think I heard about DreamCon before and people was like, oh, y'all making it ghetto and stuff like this a long time ago. But oh, y'all turning it ghetto. So is DreamCon supposed to be like black people's Comic-Con and Anime Expo combined? Is that what DreamCon is? It's like it's the black people version of all that. Like inquiring more, I want to know. But yeah, let's keep it going. Maybe he's gonna explain.
Says it well. Every con is like this. This is every con, but the one specific to black folks is too freaky. And now I can tell you, as a black.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so DreamCon is for black people. Okay, good. Okay, yeah. So I was right. Let's keep it going.
Black man. I haven't went to a single con, like comic book convention, anything as a single man. My first ever comic book convention, the first time I went to MomoCon years before it became a big thing. That might have been my first like young adult con. And I took my then girlfriend, who's now my wife, and it was really dope. And even then, you could smell it in the air. I go to Dragon Con every year. This was me at Evo, which was also, you know, I could smell it in the air. This is me and the fam on our way to Dragon Con. This is I don't know, 3 years ago. But I need y'all to understand, I do not take my kids to the actual con. My kids only go to the Dragon Con parade. That's it. They don't go nowhere else. Dragon Con is too freaked out for me to take my kids there. This is
So okay, I think I got the gist of it. He's saying that people are being anti-black about DreamCon, like, you know, talking about, oh, it's too freaky, it's too nasty. But he's saying that all the cons are like this. Because like I said, is DreamCon supposed to be like Comic-Con or Anime Expo for black people? And yeah, and it don't look no different than what you see at all these other ones. I never been to none of these conventions. My brother wanted me to go to I think Anime Expo or Anime Con, whatever it's called, in New York with him. I never went, but this don't look no different. It don't look no different. So like, what is the issue here? So yes, I think I'm jacking this, that people talking about what's going on at DreamCon, that is some anti-blackness. Because if everybody else is doing this, and this is fine, but when black people do it, now people gotta get performative. Now people gotta like try to highlight certain things. Yeah, I'm jacking that. This is anti-blackness. This is anti-blackness.
probably one of my favorite ones. But my best one was I was Cyclops a couple of years ago, and I don't know where it's at. And this photo won't show up. Anyway.
I saw the video of the streamer talking about how DreamCon is weird and doing all that dressing up is weird. And it reminded me of a time for my sister's birthday when we went to the new Universal, and my sister knows how much I love How to Train a Dragon. So even on her birthday, she got me a toothless headband.
Oh, there's still
and
Musty
so we
and
had
Stinky
gone to
too.
Burke and watched a show. And I remember when Toothless came out, I began to cry. And in that moment, I was so proud of myself because I realized that I did not let cool or the perception of cool prevent me from experiencing childlike wonder. There is so much power.
All right, I got a hot take, y'all. We haven't fully unpacked the anti-blackness of how, I'm just going to say, normie black folks engage with nerdy black folks. Because here's the thing,
Okay, so now I'm getting confused. So is this video about black people being anti-black to other black people? Or this is about people being in general being anti-black to DreamCon? Because if he's going with the black people being anti-black to other black people, I'm thinking it might be some truth to that. Because yeah, people will make fun of you and question your blackness if you like, you know, if you want all this anime stuff and like that. I think it's okay to watch anime now. But back in the days, yeah, that was nerdy. People would make fun of you, especially all this dressing up stuff. Yeah, unacceptable. Unacceptable. Yeah, people would definitely be questioning your blackness. So I guess that's where he's going with it. So yeah, let's keep it watching. Let's keep going.
you know what upsets me the most about this, right? So it's two things. Thing number one is that all comic cons, nerd cons are freaked out. All of them are. All of them are. You go to any type of convention where a bunch of nerds get together, they're going to fuck. It's because it's low-key scientifically proven that nerds are a bit more horny, that people who are highly intelligent are a bit more horny, or at least into a bit more kinky out there stuff. Like that's a thing that actually is found in scientific sociological research. So number one, understand that there's nothing odd about DreamCon having half-naked women in comic book costumes, because they want to be cute and sexy and seen. We can address other elements that come with that are also at every con. Every con, ladies, you need to be safe. There's a lot of dudes there that have fun and they're looking to have fun with you. And there's predators. Every con, sadly, there are stories. They said that feels biased. The nerds are the ones running the studies. Well, regular niggas, get y'all weight up. Niggas, get y'all weight up in the research game. Get y'all weight up. And then y'all can tell us how to study this shit. Until y'all get y'all weight up, I don't want to hear it. But I'm going to tell you the thing that people aren't saying. I'm going to address at some point, maybe next year. So many Black young people oriented events are just as freaked out as this. You go to any HBCU picnic, concert series, whatever the situation is, if young, attractive people get together on a beach or a club, right, it's going to be freaked out. Literally, Freak Nick was the biggest thing for Black kids in the country for a good decade. This is not to say that Black nerds themselves don't have anti-Black tendencies, but we're not on that right now. What I want to point out is that if this was any other young Black thing that did not involve the nerd element, niggas would not care. It's specifically because these are a bunch of nerds and anime fans and, you know, the kids that are the quiet kids or the weird kids, male and female and in between, because it's nerdy shit and Black Americans as a whole have not quite unpacked what to do with the Black nerd. It's weird that the nerds are fucking. It's weird that the nerds are horny for each other, not for the normies, not for the regular niggas, but they have found each other. They throw a yearly party now and they get freaky with it. They didn't ask for nobody's permission, nobody's approval, nobody's nothing. But the normie kids, the same motherfuckers that bullied a lot of y'all in high school still, myself as well, it bothers them that we have kind of like sidestepped the approval process to do our own thing. It really is a specific flavor of anti-Blackness that this is the response to DreamCon every year.
I don't know. I think I'm co-signing that. Because, you know, you got Black people who are like alternative. You got Black people who are like into golf and all that other stuff. And people do look at them as weird. And people do look at them as like they stinky and all that other stuff. And it's a lot of, oh, you want to be white stuff in it too. Like, that's a lot of things that people say to them. Like, oh, y'all want to be white. Y'all want to be white. Or we don't do that as Black people. Y'all lame. So, yeah, I think I'm co-signing it. Let's see what else he got to say.
Like, there's probably some Afro-pessimism in there somewhere. There's a lot of stuff in there. But the attention is getting from folks outside that culture. Like, I'm not feeling the way it comes off. It does come off like it comes off anti-Black. It's going to be in the video because I do think this is a thing that I know I have felt. I don't know if I've told him this personally. I think I have. But the way that Christian Divine gets canceled every 3 months, to me, is innately connected to explicit hatred of like Black nerds and Black neuroatypical people. If Christian Divine, if he presented more neurotypical, he would never get the type of negative attention he gets, in my opinion. Christian does have bad habits of just like wandering into shit. Like, I've told him personally, just wander into less shit. And he does a good job mostly. But I don't think the level of hate he gets is matched with the actual level of wandering into discourse he does. But people dogpile him every 3 months. And just make shit up, by the way. And that's one thing like that still gets on me is the thing you have to get used to once you get a platform. If there's a certain type of person that exists, I don't get the headspace. Honestly, I don't get it. But like, once you get big enough, you get so much attention. There's so many weird people that watch with like, I don't get the psychology of hate watching personally. You just get so much negative attention and people just make shit up. They will willingly run around social media in your comment section making shit up about you in order to have something negative to say. It's anti-fandom. I just hate it. Oh, I did see this shit.
Actually, my first event. I'm so excited.
Just make sure to stay in character today.
Okay, yeah.
So this is an Asian dude. Is that what I just discovered? And this the other thing is that when you're a black nerd. So first off, start up here. Nerd culture has always included black people. Black nerds have always existed. It's not a new thing. Always included black people. As soon as the concept started to congeal in American culture, black people were there with it. Nerd culture, like nerd art, nerdy stuff, is highly influenced by black people. So much of this stuff is influenced by hip hop and black art and, black music, etc. The only thing that doesn't exist within nerd culture is the high representation of the media around black people, but that's media in general. DreamCon exists because these dudes, shout out to the RDC World brothers, I guess about 10 years ago at this point, was like, we want to make our own con. Another thing that the normie cats don't appreciate is that, like, being a black nerd is a spectrum. It's a spectrum of experiences. Every black nerd isn't like experiencing the flying and milk thing in the suburbs with all white people. King Vader is another one. Caleb City.
Oh yeah, shout out to all those creators. I like that. But is he gonna talk more about that Asian dude dressed up like Frieza, walking around a black space, calling people monkeys? Because you saw with the other, I think it was the Asian girl talking to him, like, oh, remember to stay in character or whatever the case may be. That's not funny, by the way. Like, I don't know. People need to check him on that. Because people think they can joke with black people about racism, and that's a no-go. I want to say this. Black people got to be more like the Jews. Like, I don't like to compare black people to other people or say what other black people got to do what other people do. But this is an exception. You see how Jewish people don't play with anti-Semitism? Like, that's off the table. Don't play those games. It got to be the same way with anti-blackness, especially in a black space. You're not coming to DreamCon doing nothing like that. That's out. That's out.
This dude, freaking hilarious for years now, going back to Vine. So all these black nerds created their own things. And one of the reasons why they did is because nerd culture is just as, if not more, hostile to the presence of black people as everything else in this country. In fact, it's a currency at this point to be anti-black. But there's a current.
Yes. I agree with that. I was to say nerd culture is extremely anti-black, which is so funny because a lot of people would think that of all people, all spaces to not be anti-black, you would think it would be nerd culture, geek culture. Like, oh, like, why would a nerd or a geek be a racist? People would think that, but no, they are super racist. They are super racist. Super racist. That's why, again, I'm happy that there's a DreamCon for black people to do them. That's why they got to protect that space even more. Because, like, even in sports, you can go as a black person and go to random sporting events and probably won't bump into no racism. But as like a black nerd or a black geek, you go to one of these white dominated thingies and it ain't nothing but racism and stuff. It's to the point where it's like you can't even get into no Discord or talk about anybody with anything that got black people in it without it turning into like a Klan rally. So yeah, they got to protect their spaces even more. They got to protect their spaces even more. They got to protect their spaces even more. I'm happy I watched this. Let's keep this going.
See the anti-blackness. I'm not saying we should ignore anti-blackness coming from other people, but it would help to like reduce its reach and effect on you. One of the reasons why you see so much anti-blackness in nerd culture amongst black nerds and towards black nerds is because these white folks know that it's an easy way for them to get a following, for them to get attention. All that to say, DreamCon is created solely to bring black nerds together in a space where they don't have to worry about shit like this. And this only exists because this is now an Asian person who thought it would be funny and wanted attention. Do we know who this dude is?
Can you say the thing?
Yeah, exactly. This is like he hit the nail on the head. He hit it on the head about racism being used to gain a following. Like if you look online right now, some of the biggest channels you see on YouTube is a bunch of losers who are just basically regurgitating anti-black talking points about entertainment media. Oh, it's a black person in the comic. Yeah. Just cry. Just say, oh, look, they got black people in this movie. Oh, they got black people in this comic book. Oh, why are they putting black people there? And cry about it and talk about, oh, this is forced diversity and whatever the case may be, and you get a huge following. Or just do this stuff right here, like this Asian dude, like thinking this is funny, this is a joke. Oh, look, I'm cosplaying at DreamCon, calling black people monkeys. Ha 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 ha! Isn't that funny? Nah, I wouldn't have tolerated that. I probably would have caught a charge at DreamCon, because it's like, no way. We doing a black event, so we don't got to deal with stuff like that. You're not coming in a black space to do something like this. Oh, I'm gonna look at the comments. No. Why should black people boycott anime? Anime is awesome. I don't watch anime no more, but it's like it was awesome and it was a big part of my childhood. I don't think nobody should boycott it. Cause like what? Cause some random no talent nerds are being racist. No, should not boycott anime. In fact, I'm just saying you should keep them out of our spaces. Because if DreamCon is a black space, then this type of behavior can't be tolerated, especially from no nerd. That's the thing that be killing me about racism coming from nerds too. It's like, bro, you was getting thrown in a dumpster. You was getting your head put in the toilet. People was giving you swirlies and all that other stuff. And then you want to come try to be tough and be mean to black people, knowing all the stuff you endured. Like, you're a coward. I don't play with people like that. I would have smacked fire out of them for that. Don't play with me. Shout out to everybody in the building. Oh, shout out Percy in the building. Oh, yeah. Like I said, I was supposed to go to an anime expo with my brother in New York. I didn't go, but I was supposed to. But yeah, I probably would have smacked fire. If I was at this DreamCon, and like, again, that's one thing I do not like. I do not like white people trying to play racism, or any non-black, non-white person trying to play racism as a joke. Like, it's not a joke. Like that, we don't joke like that. Like, we don't even know. Like, again, who is this dude? People are a little too comfortable. A little too comfortable. Somebody would have got slapped all up in their mouth.
Hello, monkey.
Oh, that's a black person. That's not the same dude.
Oh my God, a monkey!
But I just want to drive home that this idea that DreamCon is some type of uniquely freaky thing is bullshit. DreamCon is like every other con that's ever been. It's just black people involved. It's just as freaky as every other con, or just as many half-naked people there. This energy that folks are coming trying to, like, it really is just trying to reproduce certain hierarchies, because the way nerd culture and like nerdy interests have become so prominent. There's a lot of cognitive dissonance for regular niggas, and it's like, y'all just do the things y'all been doing. Nobody asked y'all to be here with us. Nobody asked y'all to join. Nobody asked y'all opinion. It's so, like, either be like, yay, good for y'all, or just shut the fuck up. Shit is frustrating.
I dig it. Shout out to everybody in the building. You said they will only boycott anything. I can't co-sign that because I don't even know what you mean by this, but I do not believe black people globally hate each other. I think people are taking like some vocal minorities and making them seem bigger than what they really are. Peace Nightlife. Yeah, that dude was dressed up like a monkey. You talking about the dude in the monkey suit, the ape suit, King Kong suit, or you talking about the person wearing white? You talking about the person wearing white? They was dressed up like Frieza, a Dragon Ball Z character. No, I don't hate Mexicans. FBA is a hate cult. I'm not a part of that hate cult. It's not a people or lineage. It's a hate cult and a white nationalist psyop. I'm not a part of it. Oh yes, the when you said hello. Oh, when the first guy said hello monkey, He was talking to a black guy who was dressed up like a Naruto character. Let me see if I can bring that back a little bit. Yeah, he was talking to a black guy dressed up like a Naruto character. Let me see. It's that. Yeah.
Oh my God, a monkey!
But I just want to drive
Oh,
home.
not that one. Yeah, let me bring this back a little bit.
Funny and wanted attention. Do we know who this dude is?
Can you say the thing? Hello, monkey.
Oh, that's a black.
See, yeah, it's a black person in a Frieza suit talking to a black person in a Naruto outfit. Yeah, but yeah, let's get off this. Shout out to everybody in the building. Let's go to this real quick. Boom. For all you who don't know, Vaush is crying about Jasmine Crockett again. I'm pretty sure there's something anti-black to be said. So let's get into this.
James Tallarico recently at a town hall where he was accosted by I'm sorry, it's really difficult to get into this without just addressing the face of it, the racial grievances, angry black people.
Oh, knew it. Didn't even watch this video. All I did was like see that he was talking about Jasmine Crockett, and I already knew this was going. I already knew where this was going. Already knew.
For what reason? I'm still not entirely sure. I have to assume this is downstream of Jasmine Crockett, who still won't shut the fuck up, who continues to allude to racism in this primary, riling people up.
Stay here, you answer our questions, or you suffer the consequences.
Wait, is that it's just the same lady?
Suffer the consequences.
I'm happy to engage. We'll come to here in just a second. I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate you traveling in, and I appreciate
I did it for my people, not for you.
And that's wonderful. I think that's wonderful.
I do. Okay, wait, hold on. Not to engage in a bit of narrative violation here, but I'm almost positive this woman isn't actually a liberal Democrat. I'm pretty sure she's just an attention whore. Yeah, same shirt. I'm pretty sure it's the same lady. Isn't this the same woman who said that she wasn't going to support Biden? I think she's just a federal agent. Yeah, I don't think she's actually the narrative here would be that she's a moderate centrist or right-leaning Democrat who's like a hardline pro Jasmine Crockett. I think she might just be like a racist. Like not even
He might be right on that one. I don't know who this black lady is. She might just be one of these FBA MAGA bozos. That could be the case with her. Yeah. So yeah, that could be the case. That could be the case. She could be one of these MAGA bozos who insist, who was anti-Democrat, don't want to vote for no Democrats, don't want to support any Democrats, but insist on making her voice heard or their voice heard to Democrats. Like, come on now. Yeah. So yeah, let's keep it going.
Ideologically center leaning or whatever. I think she might just be like black racial grievance culture made animate, you know?
And it's all right. This is what this conversation's.
What does she even do? She's an attention whore. She just stirs up trouble.
But for us real black folks, everyday black people, we gonna sit this shit out. We gonna undervote your ass, James Tallarico, because I know civics. You talking all that fly ass shit, I know civics.
I've already watched this video. At no point does she actually say anything Tallarico has done wrong or what he should do. It's just racial grievance. But like, I don't even know if this is a Fed plant. She could be like a Republican operative. I'm not sure. That would make sense if she was going after Biden as well. She could just be a Republican.
And what I know for a goddamn fact is we've survived Ken Paxton as the AG. Moving that motherfucker down the road to the Senate decreases his ability to terrorize and torture black Texas voters and Texas children.
She's like pro-Paxton here or something.
So a win is a motherfucking win.
Yeah, this person is really dumb. Gotta agree with Vaush on this one. I'm pretty sure this is not a Jasmine Crockett supporter. I think this is one of these turn Chicago red type. You know what I'm talking about. the bozo FBA types who are stupid, who think the Democrats are responsible for all black people problems. They go around pretending like they understand politics. They don't. And their whole like everything is let's make the Democrats lose. That's their only position. Make the Democrats lose. Because they magically wasn't doing something for black people. I don't know.
But what I will not have you do is try to instill your great white hope in my motherfucking people and watch you let us down. I'm not fixing to let your white moderates win. Because in 2028, we need to elect a new motherfucking president. And if you white moderates and you lowly ass fucking
white moderate, I'm pretty sure she's just a Republican plant. If she was also anti, hold on. I think I have the clip.
It does not matter if Joe Biden is in the White House or Donald Trump. Fascism is fucking fascism.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's just a Republican operative. Well-read black girl 2.0. It certainly sounds like something a Republican would come up with.
Candidates like James Talarico keep pulling your shit, we're going to end up with another fucking Trump. And that...
As opposed to Ken Paxton. Is
something my people can't tolerate. So you gonna get this motherfucking lesson now. You're gonna get it. And your white moderates are gonna get it too. So maybe when 2020...
hold on, well-read black girl 2.0. Okay, there's another account on Instagram called well-read black girl, who just appears to be a well-read black girl. So this might just be a Republican operative that's trying to do, what do you call it? Like search engine optimization stuff by making like, okay, this is well-read black girl on Instagram. She seems nice. I'm just guessing. I don't know. She seems nice. Seems like a fine account, you know? So it looks like she's doing SEO shit in order to try to like bait. You know what I'm talking about? In order to bait engagement.
Yeah,
that might be what she's doing. Shout out to Percy. Yes. Why didn't he do that? Yes. Again, his supporters are harassing Jasmine Crockett. One of the reasons is because people like Vaush, they attack Jasmine Crockett all the time. It's a lot of anti-blackness with these weird lefties. That's why they're doing what they're doing. Yeah. Oh, shout out to Magnasty in the building. Let's keep it going.
Brown, you will know, Black Texas voters, we ain't fucking playing with you. Yeah, that white boy should have stayed where the fuck he was.
Like, is this not just is this not exactly what a Republican operative would do? It's totally like meaningless racial. It's just this is just Fed shit. It doesn't even sound real. This doesn't even sound real to me. I've encountered plenty of anti-white black racists online because they're basically powerless, so the internet's the only place they can be annoying. This isn't even what they sound like. This is LARPing. This is a person trying to sound like one.
Because you came here thinking you was dealing with colored people and you met real niggas only.
Yeah, okay. Oh, man. I wonder how much they pay her. Jesus Christ.
And speaking of colored people, for you ashy motherfuckers, you...
Oh, fuck.
Stop bitches in the background of the video that said that I'm rude for handling his ass the way he should be handled. I don't have time to be pleasant. I'm a black woman in Texas. And these motherfuckers was coming for our lives.
Jesus. That Israeli check must be good. I wonder how much she's getting paid. I'm sorry, I know it's a bit of a narrative violation. I'd love to blame this on centrist Democrats, but I really don't think this is a centrist Democrat issue. I just think this is Republican money or like associated with Republican, you know? Why would you call yourself well-read black girl 2.0 unless you were doing some kind of insincere? Oh, we can't do music. Sorry, guys.
What the fuck do you mean? State my case. Who the fuck are you?
These all have like 10 likes. This is totally, yeah, totally astroturfed.
Yes. I voted for Hillary Clinton and I voted for Joe Biden. And because you all are so goddamn hateful and selfish, you want what you want, you see that as hypocritical. What it really is proof that I've consistently showed up in this country and voted against fascism.
I wonder if it's Russian money. One of the things that the Senate Intel Committee report on Russian interference in the 2016 election found, sorry, not just 2016, 2020 as well, was that a bunch of Russian bot accounts were found fanning the flames on both sides. Like the Russian money and Russian bot farms were doing a bunch of work, both for the racist anti-BLM position and the pro-BLM position. Though it's worth noting that when they supported the pro-BLM position, they were usually supporting like insincere anti-white racism. Like if Russian bot accounts were promoting a pro-BLM position, they were talking like this: all right, whitey, this ain't your I'm not your slave, or that kind of shit, like astroturf.
Oh, yep. I want to see what he got to say about Jasmine Crockett, because again, he's just talking about this lady, and we already seen this. Because again, she might be one of these MAGA types who just pretending, or she just might be like sincere. Who knows? Who knows at this point? We got all kind of people trying to do politics who don't really understand politics, or they really do understand politics, but they got their own personal agenda and they got their own projects. But yeah, let's let them go a little bit more on this.
Race, because the goal is just to promote race war shit to make the country weaker. You just want to promote like destabilization. If this was AstroTurf, she'd actually have views. No, dude. AstroTurf, first of all, it's not about the number of views she gets directly. It's about her ability to do stuff like this. See? By showing up at a town hall and being like, my black ass ain't falling for your white moderate business. It doesn't matter how many views you're getting. All that matters is that people can look and see that you have like an existing account beforehand. You know what I'm talking about? Like it's the same reason why AI bot accounts will like comment on each other's shit. It's to build up like an image of being a real person. Basically, those snaps were racist. She's racist. That's my point. Why would that not be explainable by actual grievances? Because in my experience, 99% of the time when people are lying online, it's because there's money behind it. This is like a wedge of identity grievance politics that is very politically exploitable, but not but I don't think like represents real groups of people. If it was genuine like anti-white racial grievance, why the fuck is she promoting Ken Paxton? Why is she saying Ken Paxton would be a better Senate candidate? That doesn't make any sense. An actual anti-white black racist would be militantly anti-Ken Paxton for a variety of reasons. She wasn't, though? Yes, she was. She said that there would be a harm reduction element to Ken Paxton being a senator. That's fucking psychotic. No. This is not a real position. Real human beings don't believe this. The goal here is to drive down voter participation from black Texans who feel disenfranchised after Jasmine Crockett lost in the primary and now continues to suggest that Tallarico was racist. That's it. It's just an effort to disenfranchise voters, to convince people to not participate. Yes, it's worth remembering Jasmine Crockett herself was a Republican op. Jasmine Crockett was not going to run for the Senate and only decided to do so, filing on the very last day she could, because she saw internal polling, which was created by Republicans, suggesting she could win. The polling...
I'm not... You went too far. You say Jasmine Crockett was an op? Nah. She a Republican operative? Nah. Oh, shout out to Sui in the building. Yes, I'm for universal health care too. I think healthcare is a human right. I think basic healthcare is a human right. I do too. And I do the BYB. So I'm social, I'm a social liberal. So yeah, I'm going for that too. What was this? I guess so. there's there's always been a civil war on the left. Remember, between the lefties and the liberals, it's always been a civil war. Always. Oh, shout out to Lord of Slaughter. He said that she has made videos against FBA. So okay, so she just might be one of these people who are who's just like militantly upset because Jasmine Crockett didn't win, and feel like people like Tallarico are taking black people for granted. Percy, you already know we know Vaush's line about that. The whole nonsense that Jasmine Crockett was a Republican op. Like, come on now. Come on. But yeah, let's keep that going. So yeah, but shout out to Lord of Slaughter. Thank you. I'm happy I didn't skip past this part. Up to the when he's talking about Jasmine Crockett. I'm happy I didn't skip past it because you said that she's not actually one of these FBA types. She's just very militant. Okay, I got you. Okay, good. That's good to know. Because at least she's not one of these FBA bozos or one of these like the Democrats are responsible for all black problem bozos. So yeah, I'm gonna have to check her out a little bit more. Shout out to you for that, Lord of Slaughter.
Was faked. She was tricked into running by Republicans who wanted to use her, and she's like a narcissist, a crazy person, to try to induce infighting against Tallarico, a very strong candidate, and to try to disenfranchise black Texan voters. If Tallarico was the only real option for the Texas Senate, black voters would go for him because he's cool, he's a Democrat, whatever. But if you get Jasmine Crockett in to like foment a bunch of racial grievance beforehand, so that now a bunch of black voters feel like they've been betrayed by her loss in the primary, now you have a depreciated voter turnout. Very, very shrewd political operating by the Republican Party there. If Tallarico was black, do you think she'd be playing the man card? If Tallarico was black, there'd be another operative that they would pay to do this. Will it work, though? I mean, Jasmine Crockett's kind of helping, isn't she? Jasmine Crockett is still suggesting that Tallarico was racist. So, like, together, yes, her narcissism plus the isn't it kind of our fault that we're so susceptible to racial psyops? Blame centrist Democrats. Centrist Democrats have been doing racial grievance politics. Like,
no, we will not blame centrist Democrats because he's talking about blaming liberals. Talking about, is it our fault we're so susceptible? The reason that's possible in America is because America is racist. If America wasn't a racist country, people wouldn't be able to play the quote unquote race card. If stuff like this didn't happen all the time because of racism, then nobody could ever use racism as a way to play people off against each other. If you guys weren't racist in the first place. Talking about it's Democrats' fault for doing identity politics. No. In fact, people like you on the left who are against identity politics are the ones who make racism worse. Black people have only gotten progress in this country through identity politics. We watch racist people who only cared about social issues build the biggest middle class in American history. Excuse me, not American history, world history. We watched the Great Progressive Era. FDR, Truman, Eisenhower, JFK, LBJ. We watched that. They built the biggest middle class in world history. Shining city on the hill. They didn't do anything racial. In fact, they were racial. They did do stuff racial. Racist against black people. They did all the socials. They didn't do none of the social stuff, but they did all the class stuff. And who benefited from that? White people. And it wasn't until LBJ said, hey, maybe black people should get some too, that white people turned around and betrayed all that. Like, we got to keep it real about why the country is in the position it is in today. Because the average white person cares more about being a racist than they care about their own socioeconomic status. That's the long and short of it. Like, the only way we're going to get progress for all is to do identity politics. Because we got to realize that, hey, just making the middle class bigger and stronger does not help us with all our social issues. It doesn't fix racial issues. So it's important that we got to address those things. We got to. What's my thoughts on Lyndon B. Johnson? He the second greatest white president for black people ever. Second greatest white president ever. Only second to Abraham Lincoln. LBJ is the GOAT. He's one of the GOATs. He's on the route. He on the Mount Rushmore for black people. White presidents for black people. He's on that Mount Rushmore. First ballot Hall of Famer. And the things he said about how white people will turn, all you got to do is get a white person, give a white person, I'm paraphrasing, but create an environment where a white person the lowest white person could look down on the highest black person, and they'll vote for you. They'll even turn their pockets out and give you all their money. We seeing that still to this day with Donald Trump. Like, you can't make this up. Of course, he's never going to talk about that. Or he's never going to talk about the money that Tallarico took from Trump's biggest Zionist donor. Trump's biggest donor is a Zionist, and Tallarico took money from her. How come nobody talking about that? They attacked Jasmine Crockett because she took money from somebody who's affiliated with somebody who's connected to AIPAC some kind of way. But nothing to say about Tallarico taking money directly from the biggest Zionist donor in America. All right, come on now. Oh, I never watched that show, but I was planning to watch it too. I'm planning to watch it. But yeah, people got to show LBJ in a good light. He did. As for black people, he did a lot. He did a lot. But yeah, let's keep it going.
Old style tribal political navigating. They've been doing this for decades. Hillary Clinton, right, with the id poll, but like to a large extent, Eric Adams, Cuomo, they all do this. The district where Daria Lee's just won. You had like the Haitians versus the Dominicans. Democrats love to.
I think you mixing and matching too much stuff. But yeah, keep it going.
Compel ethnic patronage. And get angry when it doesn't work in their favor. Like, look at her. This is from 1 hour ago.
The World Cup that captured the imaginations of the entire world when they saw all of these people of color that was playing for all these teams. And ultimately, if you recall, the last two teams, it was Argentina and Spain. And it seemed like the vast majority of the world was rooting for Argentina, or actually against Argentina, right? And why was that? Just give me an explanation if you could guess. If you'll just let them finish the answer.
Spain had the best team. Maybe that's why they were rooting for them.
There's also a racist history that exists.
Mr. Byer, you're right.
Like, this is ridiculous. She's a sitting congresswoman and she's arguing the reason people supported Spain over Argentina is because of racism. What is the...
Yes, that is true. How is that ridiculous? That is a fact. That is a fact, a bona fide fact. The majority of people were voting for Spain over Argentina because Argentina is just that racist. And again, it was more people rooting for Argentina to lose than they were rooting for Spain to win. So how is that ridiculous? How is that ridiculous to point out? How is that ridiculous? Inquiring minds want to know, how is this ridiculous?
Point of this. What is the point of this? Can you explain what policy is being pushed here, what advocacy is being done, what political position is being fronted here? It's literally just racial grievance. The Spanish team had more black people on it. Hold on one second. I don't know that. I don't watch the World Cup. Is that true? Did the Spanish team literally have more black people on it? Argentina is like the most racist fucking country in the world, but she's still playing this point because the goal is, okay, everyone here looks photoshopped. Does this not look like...
Okay. So you don't watch the World Cup. You just acknowledge Argentina is one of the most racist countries in the world. But her bringing it up is somehow a problem because what policy is being pushed forward here? Can't make this up, man. This is also the least anti-black lefty you're gonna run into with a big platform. The least.
Does this not look like a YouTube thumbnail? Like it's like the Mr. Beast add-on or whatever? It does not. It isn't. Are their heads too big? It has to be the focal length. Oh my God, yeah. Argentina. Does Argentina have any black player? I guess, yeah. I mean, it's Latin America. Everyone's like shades of black. It's complicated, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, the position that Jasmine Crockett, a sitting congresswoman, is taking right now for apparently no reason whatsoever is that if you supported this team, it's because you're anti-black versus this team. I don't know. It's like you have to recognize this stuff for what it is. If you go out right now, if you go out in the real world and you talk to black people, you know what they're like? They're like, nice weather today, huh? Yep. Sure was a lot of traffic today. Normal ass people. And then you go to Jasmine Crockett, every other word out of her fucking mouth is like a gift to Republicans. Racial grievance after racial grievance after racial grievance. Like this. These aren't real people. These are people who are motivated by racial animus and propped up in order to, like, basically what I'm saying is, if you think that the DSA gives Republicans free ammunition, you have to acknowledge that people like this do as well. You cannot.
No, it's not the same. Not the same. Because the Republicans is an anti-black party. They were going to be anti-black regardless. And the only way to fight back against that anti-blackness is to be militantly black, openly black. Like we already learned from the civil rights movement. We already learned from the Black Power era. They're going to hate us regardless. So the only way we're going to be able to fight back against them is to be openly black, is to be militantly black. All that trying to be, all that respectability politics, that don't work. That don't get nobody nowhere. Because all that's going to do is get you is in 50 years, when they still turning around being anti-black, they're going to reference how nice and how respectable and how good you were while they were stomping you out, while they were killing you, while they were disenfranchising you. That's all that's going to happen. That's all that's going to happen. That's all that's going to happen. That is all.
Say that like Mamdani is giving Mamdani super popular, super popular, beloved. Even Trump loves his ass. The idea that like the DSA is giving people ammunition against the Democrats, even though Republicans already say the Democrats are communists, but people like Jasmine Crockett or whatever aren't, with their constant insincere narcissistic race baiting. It's absolutely ridiculous. I'm sorry.
We don't care. You know what's so funny about this? The only people who get mad about this stuff that that Jasmine Crockett and them are saying are people who are never going to vote Democrat regardless, unless the Democratic Party puts forth people like Graham Plattner. See, they'll vote for the Democratic Party. But otherwise than that, they wasn't going to vote for the Democratic Party. So who cares? We don't even need those people to win. See, that's another thing with you lefties. You constantly want to bring in racist people. Like you want to make the tent, the biggest tent, because the Democratic Party is already a big tent. Y'all in it, y'all shouldn't even be in it. But y'all want it to be bigger. And you know who y'all want to bring into it? Racist white people. That's the real reason why y'all mad about this. Because you know, hey, racist white people would vote for us if we would just knock off or tone down the social issues, the racial issues. And you know what? And we let them come in there and be a little racist. Not too much racist, but a little racist. Because you want those guys on your team. We don't want them on our team. And we don't need them to win. You're trying to create an environment where we need them to win, but we don't need them to win.
Looking up, by the way, was Jasmine Crockett, that clip from her at like the that obviously that black event. It was something to do with black people, where she was like implying Tallarico was racist to her. But instead, I found 1 hour ago she implied the reason you would support Spain over Argentina is because you're racist. These literally just like insane people. Can somebody find me that clip? I'm trying to find that.
But it's true though. See, it's true. You even had to acknowledge it. Argentina is one of the most racist countries. And yes, people all around the world were supporting Spain over Argentina because of Argentinian racism. Just like people were supporting, what's that country that beat South Africa? Mexico? Everybody was supporting Mexico. Why? Because of the xenophobia of South Africa. You don't even know what you're talking about. You in black folk business and you don't even know what you're talking about. You have no idea what you're talking about. Again, the only people who mad about what she's saying are the racist people. Are racist people. Talking about, oh, people don't, this is giving ammunition to the Republicans. Her just being a black woman in a position of power is giving ammunition to the Republicans, because the Republican Party is only built on anti-blackness. That's it. It's only built on hating black people. That's it. Everything else is secondary issues, tertiary issues. The primary issue with the Republican Party is, how do we oppress black people? How do we hate on black people? How do we hurt black people?
Clip where she implied Tallarico was racist. Why can I not find this? It was just like 2 weeks ago. That's not very specific. Yeah, I suppose not. You know, she's doing a fucking Netflix documentary. Junior congresswoman who lost a Senate run in the primary. Here's a documentary. I was just getting started. Now I think that's satire. Is it? I mean, this is from her account. And also it's I saw a video clip of her. Is it? Oh, it's a TikTok trend. She's not actually doing a documentary? Okay, gotcha. So she's just joking about doing a documentary.
Oh, man. See, this is proving that Vaush is just hating on her for no reason. You have been wrong on multiple things you said about her. You are completely uninformed about what's going on with her and what she's doing. You just trying to look for a reason to hate on her. And you all, like I said, you lefties is already trying to establish that, hey, if Tallarico loses, it's the black people's fault. This is all that is. Y'all trying to create that narrative now, because it's a good chance that Tallarico is going to lose. But you're going to use that loss as a way to say, see, this is what happens when you do identity politics. See, this is what happens when you rely on black people. See, this is why we need to be pushing the economic issues even more, and not only being quiet on the social issues or the racial issues. We need to actively be telling these people to shut up. We need to actively be going after these people. Y'all already trying. We already see what y'all trying to do. This is the underplay for the overplay.
I gotcha. Fooled your white ass. It's true. Where was that clip? Somebody linked it earlier. Is this it? Yeah, here we go.
People keep trying to say, well, Jasmine has to go and hold his hand. No, I don't. And don't worry about my math and how it works in my mind. Because the reality is that if you can give people more than one thing to vote for, then you have a better chance of getting them out to the polls. And honestly, some people just not going to be sold on certain people that are running in the state of Texas. So the best thing that I can do is take down ballot candidates who no one's ever heard of and do my best to uplift them and increase the voter participation in a way that we did in Texas. People keep trying to say, well,
Vaush hates Crockett too much for his joke radar to work. Genuinely speaking, without knowing that it's a TikTok trend, how would I ever know that it's a joke, given that Crockett is already a massive narcissist who makes absolutely everything about her?
That whoever that person was on the chat, they was correct. Oh, dang, my phone is still ringing. Dang. That whoever that person was correct. I thought I had my phone on mute. Yeah, they was correct. They was correct. Vaush, you two don't understand what's going on. You hate Jasmine Crockett too much to actually understand what's going on. Like, you just all over the place.
Every word out of her mouth is like, listen to me, I'm a black woman, I'm speaking right now, you shut the fuck up and listen. And then like weird racist comments about other people. Every grievance
you
against
see, a lot of haters got a lot of things to say about me and my race and how I ran it, but the reality is that there was a lot of racist, not a lot. It was like racist. It was a racist race.
In the post
it
here,
is what
she
it
said
is,
Republicans
right?
drew
But we
her
live in
out of her
America,
district,
and y'all are
but, like,
celebrating 250.
she's the one who chose to run for a Senate seat. Autoplay?
You see, a lot of haters got a lot of.
Why would it autoplay this clip? Sorry, you're right. A black woman is speaking. I should shut the fuck up, apparently. I just do it on instinct. Only way Twitter can fake views. True. True. Anyway, I guess the point that I'm getting at here is that this kind of id poll was invented by centrist and right-leaning Democrats in order to cause trouble for progressives, and that's all it's ever succeeded in doing. It's just kind of funny, like right after that Adam Smith interview where he admitted that the id poll stuff was largely a Hillary Clinton front, where she was weaponizing it insincerely in order to try to trick progressives into voting for her over Bernie Sanders. And now you have stuff like this. People, the average voter thinks that Tallarico is to the right of Crockett. You know that? Like, if you ask the average Democrat or Republican, they would probably say this. I know Republicans believe that Crockett is to the left of Tallarico, but I'm pretty sure the average Democrat does as well. How much will this hurt him, do you think? Buddy, it's a Senate race in Texas. All Crockett has to do and succeed is moving like 0.5 percentage point of the black population of Texas away from voting, disenfranchise a tiny percentage, and it could potentially hurt him very badly. Very, very badly. The well-read black girl has ties to a Republican politician from Ohio. Do you want to elaborate on that?
Okay, like I said, that's what he's going for. That's they already setting it up. They're already setting it up that, oh, if he loses, he could have won if we didn't have people like Jasmine Crockett. He could have won if we didn't have people weaponizing identity, doing identity politics. Oh, we not only need to push people who are super economically progressive, but we got to push people who actively go after people who do identity politics, who actively go after people like this and tell them to shut up. I see it now.
There are a lot of black people who identify with this kind of content unironically. Yes, racists. I know they exist. But the Democratic Party caters to them because they know they can weaponize that id poll against.
See, calling black people racist for caring about black issues, calling black people racist for doing black identity politics. But somehow, some way, you guys are not racist. You lefties who want to tell black people to shut up about their politics so you can go bring in actual racist white people. So you can actually work with actual racist white people. We can't forget that you guys push Plattner. It wasn't until a woman came out and literally said he scraped me for y'all to drop Plattner. All the racist stuff he has done, all the racist stuff he has said, y'all still backed him. So who's the real racist? Who's the real racist? And y'all backed him to get racists on deck with y'all. So y'all can stop pushing social issues, stop pushing racial issues, to push economic issues that only you will benefit from. Because we all know solving economic issues in America, aka making sure white people live better, does not translate to black people living better as a whole. Like, come on now. Come on. This is, again, black people are the real racists. This is horseshoe theory. If you listen to the lefties and you listen to the conservatives talk, they on black issues, they always land pretty much at the same conclusion. In the final equation, they saying the same thing. They're getting there the different routes, but at the end of the day, they always meet at the same spot. Always.
Progressive candidates. Can I make couscous in a rice cooker? Yes. Her link tree has a petition being led by John Husted, the Sign the Petition one. Wait, really? Hold on. I don't know what this petition is. I'm sorry. I don't know what you're referring to. Wait, hold on. This is the wrong person. You linked me the well-read black girl on Instagram. This isn't the same person. Yeah, don't they like look different? Can't you tell? God, it's warm today. No, it links to the 2.0 TikTok as well. Where? Wait, hold on. Wait, it is the same woman? Wait, how can that be possible? Wait, hold on. Wait. It can't be the same person. They literally don't even remotely look similar. Instagram, well-read black girl. I think this is the like SEO bullshit that you were talking about. They're literally not the same person. I think that this is a deliberate conflation. That like the race baiting one is trying to take advantage of. Look at our reels so we can hear her voice. The diff link. Here we go. Okay. Thank God. Okay, you were confusing the fuck out of me. Here. This is the other Instagram. They don't look alike. But
oh, I think I don't know. Yeah, this is kind of breaking news. I heard there's going to be a Jamaican Day parade, where now Jamaicans are getting their own day parade, separated from the West Indian Day parade. Is that true? I heard that. First ever Jamaican Day parade.
I think this is deliberate on her part. Because this one, the one who we've been getting angry at, has a link tree. Totally different. Wait, this is a different link tree than the one you provided me. Wait, hold on. Wait, does this one have multiple link trees? Look. Oh my God. This is such a mindfuck, okay? So we're going to say the well-read black girl 1 and 2, and the well-read black girl 1 is this normal person who's cool or whatever, and then the well-read black girl 2, which is what her TikTok is the crazy race baiting one. Okay, so 1 is good and 2 is bad. That's where I'm just going to say 1 and 2. Okay, so 1 has all spelled out well-read black girl, blue check on Instagram, right? Normal political advocacy, pro-literacy, great. You look at this. Seems like a cool person. I don't know. I don't know her. And then, right, if you go over to this one, this is well-read black girl, no vowels in black girl, who's the person number 2, right? And then here's all the race baiting stuff. And then if you go over to her link tree, you have the well-read black.
Yeah, we're gonna stop this. Oh yeah, Frank Rice. It's in Brooklyn. You already know there was gonna be if there's gonna be a Jamaican Day parade, it was gonna be in Brooklyn. In Brooklyn. Heard it's happening this month in August, in the beginning of August. Yeah, let's let Vaush finish this up real quick. Let me put him in the speed and a half. Let's see what's going on with this. Let's see if he talked back about what you call about her. If not, we off this. 1 good, 2 bad. Just like I guess that's his thing, because you know Vaush created I think he created the whole concept of woke 1, woke 2, and woke 1 is bad and woke 2 is good. You know how that go. Oh, shout out to the hood mistress in the building. Shout out to you. Shout out to Julius. Excuse me. Shout out to Julius in the building. Yeah, let's keep this going.
Black girl with the vowels over here, 2.0. where you go through all this, and a Cash App, not surprising, and at well-read black girl with the vowels on this platform right over here. So again, the confusion here is deliberate. She's trying, it's SEO manipulation. Like she chose an existing political figure in order to copy, to confuse people. Like that's the point. There's like this kind of copycat shit happens all the time. Like content rehosting channels do it. It's just this one's unique because it's not a content rehosting channel. It's just a completely different. They also have a website. Okay, this is well-read black girl, I'm assuming 1, because this looks like a real website that promotes literacy and so on. The link was on her TikTok, not an Insta. I agree, this is scrambled shit though. Yeah, okay, so additional bit of confusion right over here is that there's a second link tree maintained by the well-read black girl 2.0, which also alternates between including the vowels and not including the vowels. This was the one the person linked. She has multiple link trees. Okay. Why does she have multiple link trees? Whatever. I'm sorry. This was not. Listen, this really isn't that interesting. All we've done is arrive at the previous conclusion that we had, which was that it's a psyop. Psyop confirmed the chorus guy also made a video. Oh my God. Dude, he's so fucking annoying. It's like, I feel like I should be paid money to unmute him.
Black Texans pulled up on Tallarico, and since you can't hear from us, maybe if you heard.
Jesus Christ. Why would Chorus pay this guy when he's literally a Republican operative? I guess if your only goal is to keep the left out of the Democratic Party, it doesn't really matter whether you're a Republican or a centrist Democrat.
So now everybody who disagrees with you, you weirdo lefties, they are now a racist or a Republican operative or or Republican operative or a racist. The lefties are our enemies. Remember that, people.
Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, yeah. I'm sorry. I know this is like a whole. I know this is a whole fucking like random. I know this is all like really weird and stupid. It's just like I guess I am always interested in learning more about how insincere the internet political environment is. You know? Is this what Chorus is backing? Yeah. Chorus exists to keep the left out of the Democratic Party. To that end, they're perfectly fine weaponizing performatively anti-white racist conservatives. Like that's this guy's entire. This guy's literally like a joke. It's all black grievance politics.
Bitches think they got me motherfucking bit.
Bitches
think they got me motherfucking bit. But
again, whatever. Oh, hey, shout out Jackie, you in the building. Yeah, I just found that out. I'm gonna look into it to see if it really is the case, though.
let me tell you something. I'm about to do the bending in the motherfucking minute because I'm about to wear that ass out. Don't you ever in your fucking life disrespect Rebecca Romaine. You better put respect on her name. Let's get this shit correct. This is the blueprint and this is the bullshit.
Audio. Man, I really need to keep like my earbuds in. We can hear yelling. Was I talking over a black woman or a black man that time? Would somebody like to fill me in? Listen, you need to blame Elon, man. Okay, gotcha. That's better. You need to blame Elon for making his videos randomly autoplay when I literally don't have the tab open. It's insane. Hold on. Did it happen again? Okay, we don't like this guy. But did this happen again? This is from 3 hours ago.
What are you going to do to rebuke and admonish your supporters?
All right.
Who sit up online all day, angry, attacking, very it went beyond Congresswoman Crockett.
Yes, beyond.
What are you going to do to rebuke the likes of Keith Edwards, Roe DNC?
Oh, you're running for a Senate race? Would you care to denounce these Twitter users?
And David Piper, the voice actor, who harasses and threatens black politicos who politicians in this area depend on to promote voting education and voting mobilization. But when they're harassing us simply because
fuck, dude, this is embarrassing. Yeah, seriously. It's like genuinely, how the fuck do you do outreach to the black community when the Democratic Party has enabled such a culture of grifters who don't represent anyone other than their own fucking bank accounts, showing up and just randomly invoking racial grievance politics for literally no reason, trying to undermine you. Like, you have no specific policies, no grievances, you don't really have anything to say. You're just like contributing to this big amorphous impression that Tallarico is anti-black when he's literally never done anything anti-black.
Weren't you guys doing this with Jasmine Crockett? Weren't you trying to make it seem like Jasmine Crockett was anti-Palestinian when she has done nothing anti-Palestinian? Or Kamala Harris? Y'all was doing this with Kamala Harris too. Like, come on now. Come on. Come on. This is weird. This is weird. But yeah, let's keep this going. This is weird. Exactly, Percy. Exactly. This is why I've been telling people, even before this election even happened, I was telling people about the anti-blackness of these lefties and how the white especially these white online lefties or these non-black online lefties are the enemy. They are the enemy of black people. They are the enemy of black people. And this is why I'm so mad about these FBA bozos and others, because they have emboldened and empowered them. We wouldn't even have to be dealing with them like this on this level. If Kamala had won, we wouldn't even be dealing with this right now. We wouldn't. He wouldn't. But, hey. That's what it is. Oh, shout out to Frank Rice. He said, oh, see? Okay, see, I was right. Thank you for looking that up. Shout out to all the Jamaicans in Brooklyn. Shout out to all the Jamaicans in Brooklyn.
We are active voters who want our candidate to be held accountable because he tells us to hold him accountable. What are you going to do to rebuke?
What is this? What are you going to do to rebuke these Twitter users? It's insane. Oh, hold on. Who is this? Julie McShay, quote unquote, the pretty professor. Is this also like a Fed thing? Let me see. 750 followers on Instagram. I mean, if the check clears. Basically, no presence on Instagram. What about TikTok? The pretty professor. TikTok. Couldn't find this account. Does she even exist? I don't see the account, but I see like the hashtag.
So I'm sitting outside at Panera Bread.
The Southern Socialite? That's a completely different handle. I'm trying. Does she not even exist? I don't know. Who knows? You know this lady? Well, do you know her at? I guess the point that I'm trying to get at is that everyone who bothers Tallarico is a federal agent. This is what they're mad about?
And everybody who had a problem with Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, and also Kamala Harris is a Republican operative. Is a Republican operative. That's how I'm coming. That's my stance. That's my stance. All you lefties, we already know what you about. But anyway, let's keep it going. Hopefully you can finish this up.
I'm so confused. Wait, the rogue DNC? This is fucking Michael.
Congresswoman, Governor Walz started out tonight by repeating this refrain that Israel has a right to.
Look at this. Look at this nonsense that they playing right here. Reminder, pro-Israel amendment is the litmus test. Crockett failed it. So let's get this straight. Y'all mad at y'all again. I don't know. They say she failed it. Let's say, for example, she did fail it. So we can't support Jasmine Crockett because of something going on in America. Not even in America. It's not going on in America. It's going on in the Middle East. She's bad. She's evil. We can't support her and all this other stuff because we care about the Palestinians so much. But we can support Tallarico, who took money from the biggest Zionist donor in America. Like, see, this is the nonsense. This is what we're talking about. Because again, if somebody brings up that Tallarico took money from Trump's biggest donor, the biggest Zionist in the country, biggest Zionist donor in the country, a woman who donated to Donald Trump for the express ability for Donald Trump to let Israel take Palestinian territory and to move the capital to Jerusalem. He could take money from that woman and it's okay. He didn't fail any tests. But Jasmine Crockett is so bad, we can never support her, blah, 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 blah. Black people caring about black issues in America is bad. Because again, he's talking about, oh, this identity politics, this is messing us up. This is bad. This is helping the Republicans. But you sitting around here attacking Jasmine Crockett and others for the sake of Palestinians, which only helps the Republicans win, is not bad. That's not being a Republican operative. Crying about stuff that's not even happening in America while complaining about people making a big deal about stuff that they're experiencing in America and trying to make it better in America, that's bad. Like, this is nonsense. This is blowing my mind right now.
Defend itself. Yeah. Israel has just invaded Lebanon. Israel is now intimating that it could attack Iran. So shouldn't we be looking for a little more than just these platitudes about Israel having a right to defend itself? What is the limiting principle, especially when the U.S. is the one providing the armaments for Israel?
Look at this. Sitting around here crying about Israel and America and all that other stuff. But again, if this had been a black person talking to Tallarico about, hey, the issues that black people in Texas face, it would have been the end of the world. Why are you bringing this up? You're trying to make him lose. Is a Republican candidate any better? He's even worse. So what does it matter? Blah, 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 blah. But this is exactly what they did with Kamala. These people are sick, man. We have emboldened and empowered our enemies. Shout out to you. You're right. I forgot. Tallarico is a class reductionist, so it's okay if he takes money from Zionists. Palestinians don't matter if you're bringing them up as a way to attack a class reductionist. I forgot that. I forgot. Silly me.
To wage these military campaigns, as you know, having voted for the National Security Supplemental back in April, which underwrote Israel's war effort.
I absolutely did vote for it. I voted for that along with
this is it. This is what they're. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We need to move on. I genuinely don't know what's going on here. I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't get it. If somebody could provide a solution to this, that would be great. Can we just get like a crack team of black people to follow Tallarico at all time, and anytime anyone brings up racial grievances, like it's their job to fucking peel off and tank the aggro or something? I don't
look at that nonsense. So when black people bring up legitimate racial grievances that they are facing here in America, you want a group of black people to play human shield to Tallarico to not address that, or not to talk about what he's going to do to help black people with their issues. You want a group of black people to protect him from that. But again, you would have been the main one, because you are, and the others would have been like, oh, it's totally legitimate to bring up Palestine. Again, every Palestinian could die today or tomorrow. That'll have no effect on America, but it's okay to bring up their issues as a way to say, you know what? It's okay. Let the Republicans win. Okay, let MAGA win. It doesn't matter. Yeah, we know decades, generations worth of struggle will go down the drain, but it's okay. It doesn't matter. Palestinians. Yeah, we know, and by doing that, it's going to make things worse for the Palestinians, and it's going to make things bad for all these minorities we claim to care about. But who cares? Palestinians.
I don't know what we're supposed to do. The two raw guys on the website for chorus. No, I know. I know he's chorus paid. I know he's a shill. They're all shills. Everyone's a shill. Racial grievance bodyguards. Yeah, it's pretty bad. By the way, I want to point this out. I've been warning about this for years and years. And the crazy thing is that like now I get called like far left DSA anti-black for pointing it out. But 4 or 5 years ago, I was being called like on the right for pointing it out, which is that black grievance politics is basically like an ultimate I win button in intra-democratic party politics. And it's really, really dangerous to promote that.
No, it's not dangerous. In fact, it matters. Black people are the #1 supporters of the Republican Party. Democratic Party. We are the ones who make it possible for any progress in this nation. So yes, what we say should matter more than anybody else. You're a white man. The majority of the problems you cry about in this country is caused by your fellow white men. Maybe you should be focused on getting them on the right path instead of trying to lecture black people who have always been on the right path. We have always been on the right path. We have always been on the right side of every issue. So yeah, maybe we should have the G call. Maybe we should be able to say, hey, we're speaking. We're on the right side of the issue. We're always right. We the ones who always pushed the line for everybody. And when we push the line, it helps everybody. When we put forth ideas and agenda, it benefits everybody. So maybe we should be the ones pushing, holding the torch, lighting the way. Like this whole nonsense that people want just equal say, if not more say than black people inside the Democratic Party, even though we're the reason the Democratic Party has won every election that it has won in the 21st century, is nonsense. Like again, Vaush, you're a lefty. The left has contributed to every time the Republicans has won in the 21st century. How did Al Gore lose? You lefties voting Green Party. How did Hillary Clinton lose? You lefties voting Green Party. How did Kamala lose? You lefties crying about Palestine. Every time we had a Republican in power, it's something you bozos were doing. Every time. Every time. And everybody is worse off because of it. Everybody. Not some people, everybody. Everybody is worse off because of it. Talking about the only people who win with that is Republicans. That's cap. Because if that was the case, we wouldn't have had Barack Obama twice and we wouldn't have had Joe Biden once. Remember, it was black people who saved the day in all those situations. It was white men like you who were trying to put the Republicans in charge. It was white men like you who got mad because they couldn't get Bernie Sanders and they said, you know what, I'm not going to vote. Or you know what, I'm going to vote for Donald Trump. Or I'm going to vote third party. It's white men like you.
Remember, back in like 2020, 2021, everyone was like, oh, Vaush, he's so obsessed with pointing out that he should silence black voices in the Democratic Party, whatever. But like now people are like, oh, he's like a DSA far left guy. My position has been the same. There's like unlimited license being offered to racial grievance politics as expressed by black people. Also, by the way, by Jewish people. Like a Jewish person can go on to like any Democratic event and say fucking anything. It's anti-Semitic to tell us how we're supposed to commit a Holocaust or whatever. Like they can say anything, and all of it is downstream of insincere liberal identity politics being invoked to distract from real political progressivism.
What's real progressivism? Class reductionism? Because again, if you had the power, how is that going to fix any black issues? It's not. It's just going to make things economically better for white people. That's it. That's it. Something that the white people could have right now by voting Democrat, but they won't because they're too racist. They'd rather be poor. They'd rather be struggling. They'd rather have a lower standard of living, but just be able to say, well, at least black people are being fucked over. At least. Oh, shout out to Justin March, my first moderator. Shout out to you, bro. He just came through and gifted 20 memberships. Family of Justin March gifted you a membership. Make sure you thank him and keep it going. Everybody make sure y'all salute Justin March for coming through with the 20 memberships. Much appreciated. Like, come on now. Come on. Talking about black grievance policy. Black people got every reason in the world to push our issues. That's why at the BYB, that B, first B is for black. And you know, one of the reasons we say black, for black identity politics. We're going to keep pushing our issues. We're not going to take the back burner so y'all can get in positions of power, work with racists to get in a position of power to just make sure they live better, make sure they get in the bag while we still hole in the bag. We left hole in the bag. No, that's out. That's out.
Like it's really, really, really bad for democracy. I don't know.
What's really bad for democracy is a bunch of white people in flyover country voting against their own best interests because of racism. because they rather die than let black people have something. That's what's really bad for democracy. People voting against their own self-interest because of racism. That's really bad. That's bad for democracy.
You look less white and more pink than 2020. Well, I don't have like blue lights countering it on me. Also, it's pretty hot today. Like the Professor Flowers shit. I mean, yeah, it's all in the same like it's all in the same general category, I suppose. The grievance politics stuff is just a really bad way to do democracy. It's bad both in terms of like getting people to arrive at good policies. It's also really, really, really bad at allowing you to democratically navigate disputes within the party, because it means that anytime you have a problem, rather than addressing the root of the problem, you just immediately go into race baiting. It's really, really
at the root of all American problems is racism. You can't solve any American problem without talking about racism. It's not possible. It's not possible. So yes, race got to be front and center, because it's at the root of all American problems that you say you want to see solved. Why don't we have universal health care? Racism. Why can the corporations do whatever they want and rape the game? Racism. Why this? Why that? Racism. Racism. The root of it all is racism. And identity politics is how we got things like the civil rights amendments. Not amendments, excuse me. That civil rights legislation. So it's a good thing.
bad. All the left does call them feds. In fairness, oftentimes they are feds. So, you know, it's just like they're wow, I really am red today. It's pretty warm in here. You know what? It's 50% that I'm warm, and it's 50% that I am watching stuff that makes me angry today.
Oh, like I said, shout out to everybody in the building. Shout out to everybody in the building. Shout out to everybody in the building. Because it's like, again, proving my point. Proving my point. Can't make this up. You can't. You just can't. You just can't. Like, come on now. Like, come on. This just pissed me off. Talking about you pissed off. I'm pissed off. No, yeah. No, you know what he's saying is wrong to speak on? Speak on black issues. Exactly. That's who he needs to be lecturing. He needs to be lecturing white people. Don't lecture black people for caring about black issues. Because if we don't care about black issues, nobody else gonna care about them. And black issues help everybody. There's no policy that black people have ever pushed that didn't benefit everybody. Everybody. There is no struggle that black people wasn't front and center for in this country. Nobody can talk down to black people about anything. Especially when because again, that's how you gotta freak that. Somebody talking down to black people about what black people doing. What did your group do? Oh, you don't want to do that. You don't want to play big bank versus little bank. Wait, who group has done more for the collective, for the nation? You're gonna lose every trip. I know I was just being like sarcastic, like, no, it's okay to talk about issues, just not black issues. Yeah, I was being sarcastic. I know what you meant. Shout out to you though. But yeah, let's get on to this. This is gonna be the last one real quick. Because yeah, we dealing with anti-blackness. This is BadEmpanada, another anti-black lefty, but he's even more anti-black, even more. But yeah, let's see what he got to say. Oh, shout out to Red Pill Zulu in the building for coming through with the 10. Much appreciated, bro. That's also a member of the channel, and you see he got a wrench too. But yeah, that's what I said. FBA, these bozos have emboldened and empowered these people. They have put us as a black people in a two-front war. We currently in a two-front war. We got to deal with the MAGA Republicans, and we got to deal with these lefties in a two-front war. Can't make this up. Shout out to you again for the 10. But anyway, we dealing with the BadEmpanada. I saw he got a video, and it got something to do with a black woman in Argentina. So I'm pretty sure he's going to be attacking the black woman. Let's see. Let's get to this.
It's time for another Argentina moronic Americans talking very confidently on TikTok review. And this one, I think, might be the worst of all of them. It is a black American woman who seems eager to claim basically everything about Argentina, its history and its culture, not just as influenced by black people, which it was, but as specifically being like the property of black people only, and also herself as a member of this community of black people who contributed to developing culture in Argentina.
Okay, isn't that what Europeans do with so-called Western civilization? Don't all Europeans sit around act like they personally, their group, not only their group, they act as individuals, they personally contributed to what we call Western civilization? Don't they all take credit for everything that Western civilization ever did? Don't you got people sitting in whatever country you're from? I'm not even gonna say whatever country you're from. Like people in Romania sitting around acting like they are personally responsible for the Industrial Revolution, the Renaissance, and like what? Global trade, colonization, imperialism. Don't they act like they personally responsible for that because they're white and they're part of Western civilization? Don't they do that? And nobody got nothing to say about that. But now when black people do that, and rightfully so, because again, the black people in Argentina are our people. Remember, we in America, especially black people in America, our consciousness is racial. We have a racial consciousness. All black people are our people. That's it. Especially in the Western Hemisphere. We all got here the same way. We are one family. We're not different groups. We are one group who got the same history. So again, us doing that gotta be okay because you don't got nothing to say when white people do it. And plus, we are not like white people. We're actually one people. We're not a group of Romanians or a group of Poles or a group of Scots or a group of Germans pretending like Aristotle is our direct ancestor. We all came here from the transatlantic slave trade. Those are our ancestors. That's who we are. Shout out to Justin March for coming through with the 2. Whole lot of ones beat a whole lot of nuns any day of the week.
As an American woman with nothing to do with Argentina whatsoever. And this is just really part of the much broader current of American ethno-narcissism that's extremely common. Americans are extremely narcissistic about ethnicity and race to the point of ridiculousness. It's how you got like Americans who like claim to be Italians or Irish because 150 years ago they had like one ancestor who moved there from those countries. And it's also a good example of the very American flattening of very diverse and different groups of people into specific races, in spite of the fact that there are many different Europeans.
Isn't that what Europeans do? Again, this is what Europeans do. They don't do it amongst each other in Europe, but when they're dealing with people outside of Europe or they're dealing with non-white people, that's what they do. It's not an American thing. That is a white people thing. Even anytime you say Western civilization, that is exactly what you are doing. You are engaging in that same behavior that you are criticizing and claiming that it's Americans who do it, and it's especially egregious when black people do it. Nonsense.
Cultures, languages, they all just get flattened down into whites. And This person is a great example of that, but from a black person, because for her, as you will see, she's part of the same group as Black Argentines. She genuinely seems to believe that she has something to do with them.
Yes, we do got something to do with them. And again, you're trying to play, you're trying to say, well, because again, this is anti-blackness. Because again, they do not say this when white people run around saying you're on Western civilization. They don't do this. Again, he tried to throw Americans in there and try to throw America under the bus a little something to try to make it seem like he's being fair and balanced. But again, you heard him. This is especially bad when black people do this. And again, I don't see you with any videos like this about white people. Because if a white person was talking about our history of colonization in the Americas, you wouldn't be like, excuse me, you didn't have anything to do with that. Like, we don't got no videos like this. We don't got no videos like this from you.
Never seen this from black people anywhere else except black Americans. I've never seen a Kenyan acting like they have anything to do with like a black person on the other side of the world. It really is just nearly exclusively a practice of black Americans. And it's not a good thing that they do this because they're engaging in the same sort of like racial segregation that like white Europeans.
See, again, always trying to make black people the same as racist white people. Because you see what you said. Black Americans are the same as racist white people. He didn't say black Americans are the same as white people. He said, who do this? He said, we are the same as racist white people. So now black Americans as a group are the same as racist white people, not white people. Because again, we already established how white people do this with the concept of Western civilization. But no, it's not black people do the same thing as white people. It's black people in America who do the same thing as racist white people. So when the other white people run around and act like Julius Caesar is their grandfather, that's okay. That's okay. Nonsense.
Supremacists would really want them to do. They want these sort of very simply and easily defining groups identifiable by physical characteristics and nothing else, because it makes it way easier for them to exclude them. And when we should be fighting back against this, supposedly progressive anti-racist Americans are, if anything, strengthening it by completely flattening the difference between themselves and groups of black people in other countries who have absolutely nothing to do with them. So firstly, I want to introduce this lady with her video on Diego Maradona, where she tries to say that Diego Maradona was actually a black man. She's basically just spamming these sorts of videos now because of the World Cup. She will say basically anything to get views and money. It's insane. Aileen Yvette is her name.
One of Argentina's most famous soccer players has African ancestry. And no, I'm not talking about Messi. I'm talking about Diego Maradona.
Now, to be clear, Messi might have black ancestry. He very well might. Something like at least 10, 15% of people in Argentina absolutely have African ancestry. But the question is, why does that matter? Why would anyone care about that? It's such an American thing to care this much about genealogy. Like, you have one random African ancestor and that, like the one drop rule, that makes you black, right? So now she gets to claim to be black just like Diego Maradona, who is not someone who actually identified as black at all. Just watch this shit. It's the exact argument that she makes there is
are we going to have this conversation about anything else? And again, this is how identity works in America. So unless you arguing with racist white people, take that up with them. Like, again, take that up with them. This is ridiculous. More ridiculous crybaby stuff. Like, take that up with people who take that up with Western civilization. How about that?
What I just said there.
The same Maradona who became a national icon in the country that spent generations convincing the world that it was only white European.
You notice how when they say that, they can never show you any example of how people in Argentina believe themselves to be only white European. They
do. Oh my God. You see, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. The the anti-blackness from the lefties. So now there's no, she's just making that up about how people in Argentina don't actually see themselves as just white people. That's just something that, you know, crazy black people just say on the internet who are no different than racist white people. That's just something we say. That's just something we say. Matter of fact, I'm not even going to continue this. I'm not even going to continue this until I find this. Shout out to everybody in the building. Yeah, we got to go to this. I got this somewhere. I'm going to find this because that's how true it is. I just watched the video about this today. And we're going to watch this again together about this issue. About this issue. Oh my God. Can't believe this. Stay tuned, family. Bear with me because I'm finding this. I would have already had it loaded up if I had watched this earlier, but yeah, I'm finding this. Yeah, I found it. I found one of the videos. Here we go. Can everybody see my screen? Yeah, let's get to this. I don't even know if this is DN whatever it's called, but we gonna watch this.
Now, if you've been online during this year's World Cup, I'm sure you've seen posts from countries across the globe rooting for their national team.
I cannot speak English, but I'm excited!
And teams like Spain, France, and Argentina, with players like Kylian Mbappe and Dembele with France, and Lamine Yamal of Spain, and of course, Lionel Messi with Argentina, who were also the national team who won the last World Cup. And people from Argentina all across the globe who root for their national team are partaking in the tradition of football, which is to playfully banter with your opponents. You know, in England, we like to take the piss of Germany, talking about shooting down German bombers in the World War. And Argentina like to call their opponents monkeys. And also some of the most blatant, obscene, shameless, deep-rooted racism you have ever seen. It borders on comical. You cannot believe some of these posts are not satirical, but then when you realize they are the complete, unfiltered opinions of these Argentinians, it gets pretty fucking dark. Like this post from someone I presume is from Argentina, who's drawn a picture of a bold Argentinian man ripping apart an Algerian player who seems to have jaundice and doesn't brush his teeth, with the caption, "What happened, little black guy? Looks like Allah didn't want to." Now, just to add some context to this, this is a post in response to a post talking about an Algerian player saying, if Allah wills it, their team will win. That's it. And that's provoked such a visceral reaction. I've never seen a fucking picture like this in my life. There's also a video of a little kid running around looking at a monkey who's walking across power lines, calling it Vinicius Jr., and the mum's just creasing in the background. I mean, what are we fucking doing here? If my child did that, I'd roll him up into a ball and use him for a crossbar challenge. Now, I'm not going to get too in-depth into the posts online. I mean, there's so many. They're everywhere. It's a fucking plague. But this is just a little glimpse, and it's enough to get the point across. Now, the racism that seems to run rampant with Argentinians seems to come as a surprise to a lot of people online because they root for Argentina, because they love Lionel Messi. But now they're learning that this country has some very deep-rooted racism. And people from Latin America, like me and my mum who's Brazilian, we have been acutely aware of the racism that goes on in Argentina, especially from Argentinians who visit countries like Brazil. Argentina has been notoriously racist to Brazilians who are black, mixed race, indigenous, and just people with the slightest bit of melanin in their skin across the fucking globe. I mean, just to give an example, a woman celebrating her 32nd birthday on a train journey in the Brazilian state of Minas Gerais was horrified when a fellow passenger alerted her that an unknown man had been secretly filming her 7-year-old son. When confronted, the man, an Argentinian tourist, initially refused to show his phone. But after being pressed by other travelers, the man admitted he had sent the pictures to someone on WhatsApp. Sorry if you can hear the lawnmower. Police later revealed that under the photos, Eduardo Murias, 63 years old, an architect, had written, "He's black, but very cute. I could take him as a slave. I'm thinking of taking a slave. There are many here."
Oh, I guess, again, according to BadEmpanada, this is just some crazy conspiracy theory that black people in America just keep pushing on the internet about Argentinians. Like, nobody ever shows any proof. People just keep accusing the Argentinians of just being this super racist country. I don't know where that's coming from. You weird black Americans. Yeah, let's keep this going.
What the fuck? Murias was the third Argentinian to be arrested for racism in Brazil that year, at a time when record numbers of Argentinian tourists were traveling to the country. In January, Agostina Paes, 29 years old, was arrested in Rio after being filmed mimicking a monkey towards a waiter at a nightclub. Although later released, she was barred from leaving Brazil for 2.5 months while the investigation continued. During that time, she claimed on social media that her rights were being violated and she was facing persecution, a narrative echoed by parts of the Argentinian media. When Paes returned to Argentina in April, while still facing legal proceedings in Brazil, she was welcomed by the far-right senator Patricia Bullrich, a close ally of Argentina's president Javier Milei. And this girl's father, Mariano Paes, was later filmed in a bar imitating a monkey to celebrate his daughter's return. This shit's generational, it's in their blood, but why is that the case? How can a South American country pride itself on being so white, European, and racist to anyone with the slightest bit of melanin? Before I get into this and why this is the case, of course, not all people from Argentina, have I been saying that the whole video? Argentina are not like this, right? This is not everyone. I'm not trying to generalize the entire country, but it would be disingenuous of me to ignore what seems to be a very vocal, loud majority of the country. The political scientist and African Argentinian activist Federico Pita said none of the recent cases came as a surprise, given Argentina's long history of racism. A racism is inscribed within the very project of the Argentine nation. Argentina is constitutionally a supremacist country. He said, citing Article 25 of the Constitution, which states, "The federal government shall promote European immigration."
Look, got racism in the damn Constitution. Got racism in the damn Constitution. That reminds me of another nation. Like America. Racism in the damn Constitution. But somehow, some way, this is something that people are just making it up. Like, we just keep saying Argentina is a racist country, but, you know, nobody ever shows any proof of that. Yes, they want an ethno state. As a matter of fact, they see themselves as an ethno state. As a racist ethno state. Yeah, let's keep this going.
Argentina continued to see itself as European, while denying outright the existence of African Argentinians and indigenous people, who, according to a 2022 consensus, made up only 1% and 3% of the population respectively, which is fucking ridiculous. Activists and researchers argue that those figures are likely to be extreme underestimates. Experts believe the majority of the population has indigenous ancestry, even if they don't claim it. They don't identify as such, they ignore it as if it doesn't exist because they're fucking European and they're better. In just 200 years of being an independent nation, Argentina has constructed several overarching myths. One such myth is that they are a European society inexplicably transported to Latin America. Doctor Who gathered them all into his TARDIS from the rolling hills of Switzerland and took them to Argentina, a kind of island on the South American continent, uneasily sharing that status with Uruguay, or more precisely the capital Montevideo, which is often seen as a slightly anachronistic Buenos Aires. And then there is another indestructible myth. They are an ethnically unified society. I quote, "We Argentines come from the boats," coming from a popular song from 1982. The full quote is, "The Brazilians come from the jungle, the Mexicans come from the Indians, but we Argentines come from the boats." Though a fucking shit song, it was.
Oh my God. Oh my God. They the people of the boat. They see people. They the sea people. Look, they the sea people. The sea people from the caves. Sea people from the caves. Here to bring death and destruction. Just like, the sea people during the Bronze Age collapse.
Cited by former Argentine President Alberto Fernandez in 2021, who attributed the idea to the Mexican writer and Nobel laureate Octavio Paz, who had actually written, ironically, that Mexicans descended from the Aztecs, Peruvians from the Incas, and Argentines from the boats. Now, the boats here signify the perpetuation of the notion of transplanted Europe via Italian and Spanish migration. And this narrative doesn't account for what happened to the indigenous population, or the descendants of African slaves who had arrived in large numbers throughout the Americas, including what would become Argentina. Serious studies affirm that at the time of independence from Spain in the early 19th century, the population of African slaves was no less than 15% of the total. Since there was no acknowledged or hidden extermination, this transformation into a strictly white country requires some explanation. How is this the case? And the explanation is threefold: mixed marriages, concealment, and denial. In Argentina, there are no black people. Therefore, thankfully, they cannot be racist. Black is used only as a classist insult. Black people are the poor people, the poorer, the blacker. But that is not racism, according to the good conscience of the white urban middle class of Argentina. Political and intellectual elites promoted the notion that Argentina was modern, civilized, and white, often erasing indigenous, Afro-Argentine, and mixed-race populations from national narratives. This myth shaped how inequality came to be understood. Rather than openly acknowledging racial hierarchy, Argentine society often framed inequality as a matter of work ethic, education, or culture. Where have we heard that before? This denial of race makes racism harder to confront because discrimination.
I think we made our point. I think we made our point about Argentina being a racist country. I think so. I think we made our point. Who think we made our point? Because there's another video I wanted to show you. I can't find it right now. Matter of fact, yeah, let's just get off this. I can't find it right now, but let's go back to the BadEmpanada. Matter of fact, we're gonna let this dude finish up his video.
Discrimination is disguised as common sense or neutral social judgment. Terms like negro in Argentina often function less as literal references to skin color and more as a derogatory insult directed at people who are poor, working class, or have a lack of education or perceived moral inferiority. But these labels carry strong racial meanings, even when framed as class-based racism. In practice, race and class become nearly inseparable. People who are poor, informal workers, migrants, or residents of marginalized neighborhoods are frequently racialized as socially inferior. Now, to further explain where this all came from, the mass racism from Argentinians or Argentines, the political rise of Mauricio Macri and his administration is vital to understand this properly. Macri's government represented more than a shift in economic policy. It symbolized the return of elite power in the highly visible form. Macri came from one of Argentina's wealthiest business families and built a political coalition centered on market-friendly reforms, austerity, and neoliberal governance. But this government was largely composed of business elites, upper-class actors whose worldview reflected their class position. The state increasingly operated in ways that projected elite interests while framing inequality as a result of individual behavior rather than structural injustice. This is the case in so many countries, but it is particularly potent in Argentina. During this period, many poorer Argentines, noticeably black or mixed race, indigenous, welfare recipients, labor activists, and informal workers were portrayed as lazy, dependent, or morally suspect. Social assistance programs were often criticized not just as economically inefficient, but as rewards for the undeserving poor. This language carried racialized assumptions. Certain groups were imagined as consuming resources without contributing, while middle and upper class sectors were portrayed as hardworking, productive, and deserving. This is a key mechanism through which racism operates in modern Argentina. And we can use this extreme example in Argentina to see the more subtle structural racism in countries like England and America today. Racism appears in jokes, media narratives, political speeches, neighborhood boundaries, and assumptions about who belong in certain places. It shapes how people interpret poverty, crime, and social conflict. Because these attitudes are so embedded in everyday life, they often go unrecognized. Many people reject the idea that Argentina is racist, while simultaneously reproducing racialized judgments in ordinary conversation. I know if you enjoy this very wordy and
yes, I think I had to play the whole thing. Sorry, family, because it's like we gotta make this point. We gotta make this point. We gotta make it clear. Like this nonsense that somehow people are just making this up. Like, oh, Argentina, a racist country that tries to hide its black ancestry. Oh, you crazy black Americans, y'all just making that up. Yeah, let's get back to BadEmpanada. Let's see what he's talking about.
Just say it confidently, because very few people in Argentina actually think that, or whatever actually say it. People in Argentina conceive of themselves primarily as Latin American, not as Europeans. But
we just debunked that lie. But let's keep it going.
She says it very confidently, very Americanly, with the worst glasses in the entire world, completely self-assured, zero source. Just keep repeating that. Couple things here to mention as well. That one, Maradona.
Yes. Well, let's keep it going.
His popularity in Argentina, the legendary status that he has, that Messi can't really equal, in large part comes from his politics. He was sort of a very open, more left-wing radical sort of person. And he came from a background that most people could identify with. He basically lived in a shack in Villa Miseria is what they're called. They're like shanty towns. And especially at the time, when he was getting popular, most people in Argentina lived in similar conditions, and many 20-30% still do today. So people could identify very much with his background. And also the fact that Maradona is this kind of racially ambiguous figure. You look at him and you really can't tell whether he's white or whether he's brown or whatever, is also something that most people in Argentina could identify with. Because most people in Argentina look much more like Maradona than they do some blonde-haired, blue-eyed Nazi caricature. So she's...
Oh my God. Oh my God. See, just say anything. Shout out to Vegeta in the building. Shout out to Vegeta in the building. But yeah, we seen that that BadEmpanada don't know what he's talking about. And yeah, let's let him keep going.
Trying to frame this as like, look at these fucking morons accepting Maradona as their national icon, even though he's everything that they hated, when the actual reality is that Maradona was accepted as a national icon because he represents the average person, because the average person could really see themselves in him, both in who he was and how he looked.
And
total lie. Total lie. See, BadEmpanada, you got the right name. Your name, matter of fact, your name should be Spoiled Empanada.
everyone came on boats. Genealogical research traced Maradona's family line back to Luis Maradona, an enslaved man from San Juan who later fought during Argentina's wars for independence. And according to that research, Luis gained his freedom through his military service, which makes Maradona...
Now, as I said, it's kind of ridiculous to claim that someone is black or that there's any real significance to them having had a black ancestor 150 years ago. Of course, tons of people in Argentina have an African ancestor. The question is, why is that significant? Why does that matter? And it's because of this ethno-narcissism. You have one ancestor and that apparently makes you black. You have one ancestor and that means that you need to identify as African for the rest of your life. I didn't even know who my ancestors were 150 years ago, and I couldn't give a single fuck. Maybe one of them was African. Maybe one of them was black. What does that do for me? What does that change for me? For Americans, they seem to think it should change everything, and they can't seem to grasp that in other countries, this is just not a thing. Which is also missing another element to this, which is something that happens a lot in Argentina. I imagine it happens in other countries as well, where they try to tie prominent national heroes like Diego Maradona to independence figures. Like there's a clear incentive to tie Diego Maradona to a soldier who fought in the army of the Andes, which is essentially what this genetic study purports to have done. Like, what a great story. Diego Maradona is descended from a soldier who fought in the most famous army in the entirety of South American history. So this can easily be taken with a grain of salt, but even if you don't, what's...
Oh, I thought you just said it don't matter. So why are you trying to if it don't matter? Because according to Spoiled Empanada, it doesn't matter. So if it doesn't matter, why are you trying to discredit it? Why are you sitting here right now trying to discredit that dude had African ancestry if it doesn't matter? Like, do you think that they would lie about that? Like, come on now. Come on.
What's the significance of this, right? Why does it matter? It's a uniquely American thing to care this much about this sort of thing. Plenty of people in Argentina know very well that the Army of the Andes was comprised of around 40% black Argentines, black people. This is not new. Now, what this does ironically contrast, given that this lady wants to paint Argentine history as like uniquely racist, is that
if they know that, then why in their constitution it says that they're promoting themselves as a European nation? Why do they say things like we came from the boats? They ain't talking about slave boats neither. Come on now. Come on. You're trying to defend Argentina a little bit too hard. It's bad. It's Spoiled Empanada from Argentina. Let me know.
When this was happening, and this was in 1817/late 1816, slaves in Argentina had the option to join the military and gain their freedom. And that's an option that they did not have in the United States, not even close, nor in most of the rest of Latin America. So this is someone who tries to frame Argentina as uniquely racist, and ironically, she's bringing something up here that doesn't really fit with that characterization, but she's too dumb to realize it. And I think probably the worst part about them doing this shit with like everyone, like, oh, this person was black, blah, 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 because they had an ancestor 150 years ago, is that Maradona had much more recent Guarani indigenous ancestry. His father was half Guarani, not like 1/100th that she's claiming here with the like African ancestor from 150 years earlier. We're talking about his dad. And because these people are projecting American race relations onto every other country in the world for some reason, that is being erased here for a dumb, ignorant audience of English-speaking Americans who just claim basically that he was black. But anyway, let's move on to the main course here, which is her making the same goddamn...
Okay. Okay. Shout out to everybody in the building. Yes, weirdo empanada, spoiled empanada just told a whole bunch of lies. Shout out to Remember the Pala Walla. We know they talking about the conquistadors when they say we came on the boats. That's why I said they ain't talking about no slave boats. They ain't talking about no slave boats. Can't make that up, man. Exactly. This is what I keep telling y'all about these lefties. They will cry their eyes out all day long about Israel and the Palestinians and stuff like that, but then will turn around and find time in their so-called busy day to sit around and attack black people for no reason. Of all people to attack, or for all videos that for you to have a problem with, you got a problem with this? Like, come on now. There's truth to that, T-Chad Potter. There's some truth to that. But again, racist white imperialism is what made anti-blackness global. Because there's two things Europeans did every place they landed. They told the people that they superior, but don't worry, the Europeans told the people they superior to them, but don't worry, y'all superior to black. This is why anti-blackness is global. Black people ain't never did nothing to nobody, but everybody hate black people for some reason. And everybody love white people, even though they cry about how the white man punked them up the butt. But they still love them though. Shout out to you. Oh, shout out to Jamal in the building. Oh, Jackie, you in the building? Shout out to Jackie in the building. Yeah, let's get back to this.
TikTok that these Americans keep making about Argentine history, where they just repeat lies they heard other people say over and over again. And I'm dying, but I have to keep going over this shit because it's just so egregious and stupid.
So people keep lying about Argentina. Again, we have already established that you are lying. That you're misinformed or you're just outright lying.
There are no black people in Argentina. That is a lie. Afro-Argentinians have been fighting for visibility for centuries.
Firstly, who actually said that from the beginning? I actually haven't heard anyone saying that, aside from like Americans who have been lying about there supposedly being like a genocide of black people in Argentina, which I...
Oh, there was never no genocide of black people in Argentina. But again, Israel is fighting a war against Palestinians, but that's a genocide. You see what I'm talking about, right? Israel can't do anything to defend itself against Palestinian aggression without it being labeled a genocidal action. But somehow, some way, people pointing out an actual genocide that have taken place with the black population in Argentina, somehow that's a myth and that's a so-called genocide, and nobody ever questioned about whether there were black people in Argentina or not. Can't make this up, man. Can't make this up. See, this is what I'm talking about.
Ironically, she's going to be lying about here.
All the while, their country insists that it's only white and European.
They say this and they never provide you any evidence of like the average person in Argentina thinking this.
We already provided all the evidence, by the way. The evidence has already been provided. Like, so now the whole world is just got Argentina misunderstood. So the whole Latin America and all the black people, we just wrong about Argentina, whatever. We all wrong.
The average person in Argentina, as I said, conceives of themselves as Latin American. And there has been actually centuries of struggle for this against the minority elites who have been highly influenced, by the way, by the USA, who have been trying to turn Argentina basically into their own little facsimile of the USA for centuries. And now we have someone like this, an ignorant American who needs to get on Ozempic, coming in and telling us that this entire struggle of the Argentine majority against the minority elites over the very...
He says she needs to get on Ozempic. She's not even fat. It's just that you, again, BadEmpanada. We know you like women built like 12-year-old boys, but yeah, the sister is not fat. We know you a weirdo. You probably got a computer full of CP, most likely, because like you just look like it. And that comment just kind of like further like solidified that in my mind. Because there's no way you look at this sister and say, oh, she needs to get on Ozempic. That means you to say that, like, how much more skinnier do you want her to be? Like skinny like a 12-year-old boy? Come on now. Weird empanada. Spoiled empanada.
Identity of the country basically doesn't exist, and everyone in Argentina is just a racist who consider themselves European. It's fucking disgusting that these people just come in, remove all nuance, and basically shit on the history of countries that they know nothing about. They don't care to know about, because all that she cares about is presenting this sensationalist genocide narrative bullshit to a fellow audience of ignorant and stupid Americans who do not want to learn about anything else on its own terms and just want to project what little they know about their own country onto every single other country. Like, if you don't know, as I guarantee you that she does not, what the Unitarians and the Federalists were in the context of Argentine history, you should not be allowed to talk about this stuff. And I guarantee you that she doesn't. Again, she does not know anything about this. She's just presenting this in an incredibly reductive and stupid way that includes a ton of just blatant falsehoods, like outright her saying things that never happened. It's like, imagine someone talking about 19th century American history without knowing what the Confederates were, without being able to tell you the difference between the Confederates and the Unionists. It's the same thing, but actually worse, because in the context of Argentine history, the Argentine version of the Confederates were way less popular among the general population. It was always in the context of the Unitarians, who were the sort of Confederates of Argentine history, who represented the sort of old aristocratic elite that was always looking towards the USA as a model for them to follow, versus the much more popular federal.
You see how he got to blame everything on the U.S., right? He's trying to blame everything on the U.S. So Argentina was not racist on its own time. In fact, the small minority of racists in Argentina actually got influenced by America. It wasn't just, there was no racism, and the little bit of racism you could find was influenced by America. Can't make this up, bro. Can't make this up. Can't make this up. They just say anything. Of course he is. Again, of course he is. He's a weirdo. But yeah, let's keep this going.
Who were much more in favor of a much more even future for the country, and much more anti-racist, much more anti-discrimination in general. And this goes totally unmentioned. Instead, what she's going to do is just play all the hits.
And yet, Black history is deeply embedded in Argentina.
I gotta say, like, watch the stuff that is shown here. She's like, they try to say they're only white and European, and they erased Black history, and then she shows us Argentine currency with a Black woman on it. Are you sure about that? There's like a systematic campaign to erase the very idea that Black people ever existed in Argentina.
There is, and you're gonna see Black people from Argentina talking about it. See, if you play the video or play other videos, like I said, like I did, you would see that there are Black people in Argentina talking about this. There are Argentinians in Argentina talking about this. Like when we mentioned the Constitution in Argentina, about trying to promote Argentina as a white country, as a bunch of people who came from Europe on the boats. Like, come on now.
And then you show us, like, the Argentine government prominently featuring, this is the same woman again, by the way, a Black woman, to the extent that it's on national currency. How does this fit with the narrative? It doesn't, obviously. But anyway, she goes on.
The tango, African roots. If it wasn't for this, candombe, tango would have never been invented.
There's no tango being invented here. Tango was just sort of a musical style that was born naturally out of the blending of three sort of different cultural currents.
No, see, you had it right the first time. You said it came out of like you was about to say free Africans who were enslaved. Yes, That's where tango came from. See, now you trying to sit here and deny that that it even came from African people. And that's another reason why that's our culture. Because those same African people who invented tango there are the same African people who invented the blues in America, who invented salsa, who invented everything. Like these, we are one culture and we went to different parts of this landmass in this hemisphere. We went to different parts of different landmass in this hemisphere. It's all one.
That is the Spanish, the indigenous, and West African cultures. But of course, she's just here and she's saying tango is African. It's just entirely African. Straight up, she says the tango African roots. No, it's a blend of different cultures because in Argentina, there was nowhere near as much segregation as you guys had in your own countries. Thus, in Argentina, as in most of the rest of Latin America, when you point to like a specific cultural practice, you can't usually just say it was so specifically from this one race of people as you guys do in the US, because you had segregation. Other countries had almost none of it in comparison.
The famous Argentinian asado. Similar to soul food, it was created by Black women who had to make the best of the scraps given to them.
The fuck are you talking about? Asado is literally just putting meat on a barbecue.
Created by Black people. Like again, you trying to discredit this, but this is true. But you know, so funny in the beginning of this video, he was saying that the Argentinian culture came from Black people. Now you're trying to discredit it. Now you're trying to discredit it. Now you're trying to discredit it. You can't make this up, man. Let's keep it going.
It's putting meat on a fucking wood or charcoal fired barbecue. What the holy fuck are you talking about? Every culture in the world has independently invented barbecue. This doesn't have specific roots from anyone in particular. I'm just fucking dying. Do you really have to claim everything from any other country for you as a Black American? I'm fucking dying. And here we go with the same historical talking points as always.
In fact, in the early 1800s, Black people made up 30% of Buenos Aires' population. So how did...
And again, she's saying this sister right here is talking about what Black people in Argentina are saying. So are the Black Argentinians liars? Are they liars? Matter of fact, let me see if I can find another clip with the Black Argentinians talking about their own history in this racist country of Argentina.
Argentina convinced the world that there are no Black...
Again, the same confident assertion as always, with zero evidence provided for it.
...people or history here. Well, part of the story is violence that targeted Black communities, wars, disease, and forced labor.
Where are the wars and disease? Can you show us them? Any evidence for them?
See, now no wars and disease. And can we show some evidence? See, again, this is what I'm talking about. The people who will sit around and tell you anytime America or Israel does something, it is an act of genocide and they wiping out everybody. But I don't know how many times can Israel commit genocide against the Palestinians. It's like 5 of them left. Matter of fact, I said that wrong because the way y'all talk like it's 5 of them left. But somehow every time Israel kills millions of them, but it's always like 5 of them left. How that keep happening? How that keep happening? Inquiring minds want to know.
With your smug fucking smile, where are they?
And the government have...
Oh, shit. Wait, there's none. There's none. She provided none because it didn't happen. So we'll be going into how these myths are incorrect in just a second, because there's an ironic part of this video where I can use her own source to debunk her.
Forced labor. Then the government had the audacity to say we disappeared.
We? Motherfucker, you have nothing to do with Argentina. You have nothing to do with Black people in Argentina.
We have everything to do. That's, again, we all came here on the same boat and got put in different places. That's like saying, would you tell an Irish person to stop saying we when they talking about the Irish potato famine? Would you tell anybody to start talking about we when they talking about the Anglosphere? Like, come on now. Like, what is BadEmpanada anyway?
And you have nothing to do with Argentine history. Who's we? This is fucking bizarre. It's like me saying we in regards to a fucking Russian just because we're both white skinned. Like, what is wrong with?
What is the whole concept that Western civilization is built on? So-called Western civilization. A bunch of white people trying to trace themselves directly back to the Greeks and the Romans, who they ain't got nothing to do with. They ain't got nothing to do with. They don't share blood with these people. They don't share history with these people. These people didn't like their ancestors or anything. We as black people, we all came to the Americas together on the same boat. We are one people, one history. Like people try to one of the worst things people ever try to do is try to teach the transatlantic slave trade and slavery throughout the Americas as if there were national borders at the time, when they weren't. You could be enslaved in Cuba today, and then next month you're enslaved in New Orleans. You could be enslaved in Virginia today, and then next thing you know, you're in Brazil. You could be in Trinidad today, and the next thing you know, you're in Jamaica. There is no division. And we still not dividing ourselves based on invisible lines on the map that Europeans created, that they don't try to divide themselves on. Like, come on now. Come on now. Let's keep this going.
With you, the pure ethno-narcissism. You are not Argentine. You don't get to claim Argentine history for yourself. You don't get to claim the struggles of the Argentine people against the elites in their country for you. As an American, a smug American who has put zero effort into learning about anything and just repeating what you saw other people say on TikTok, the fucking audacity. I have more of a claim to say we in this context than you do. The fucking audacity.
Now you got more of a look at this. Look at this. I thought you just said the Argentinians wasn't white. So they went from not being white, but now they are white. That's why you have more of a claim to say we than somebody else does. Because that's what you're talking about right here. Because you just claim that the Argentinians are not racist and they all was together and they fought against a little tiny group of racists that was trying to follow behind America. And that now Argentinian culture is just a blend of everything. So now you have more claim to. This is disgusting. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is why another reason why FBA is the enemy. This is who they embolden. This is who they embolden. They embolden these weirdos. These weirdos who should have no voice. They should have no voice.
Of these Americans, oh my God.
Poof. The other half is a result of one of Latin America's most successful racial erasure campaigns.
Successful racial erasure campaigns. Well, here's a book that she brings up on the screen here. This is her only attempt to cite anything beyond a random picture she got off Google Images, rather. It's a book by Eureka Denise Edwards, who is a very problematic American scholar who has for a very long time sort of been trying to argue that Argentines should identify as Africans, much for the same reason that this woman did.
So she's a problematic scholar. See, she cited an actual scholar that you're claiming is problematic. Any sites on her being problematic by her pointing out that Argentinians have African ancestry that they keep trying to hide, and how they keep trying to present themselves as a white country. That's why they say things like we came from the boats, and this is why they got in the Constitution about pushing European immigrants into the country. Oh, yeah.
In her Maradona clip. She seems to think that if you have one ancestor who was black 150 years ago, that makes
you still didn't debunk her. You said you're going to use her own. You said you're going to use her video to debunk her and point out her source to debunk her. Her source is not debunking her. You're just arguing against the source and saying you don't agree with it. That's not debunking her.
You black, which doesn't really make sense, especially because racial identification is not nearly as big of a thing in Argentina as it is in the USA. But nonetheless, she does occasionally say things that are true. And because of that, I can actually use her work here to refute this woman's argument regarding there supposedly being like black people being sent to die in wars and being killed through like intentional epidemics and such. Because she wrote in this article here, I quote, "Perhaps the first and most popular of these myths has been that black men were used as cannon fodder, resulting in a massive death toll during wars throughout the 19th century. Revolutionary armies, for example, conscripted enslaved people to fight in Argentina's wars of independence against Spanish forces with the promise of freedom after serving for 5 years. But rather than dying on the battlefield, many simply deserted and opted not to return to their place of birth, as the historian George Reed Andrews has argued. Roll calls reveal that in 1829, the Afro-Argentine 4th Cazadores military unit lost 31 soldiers to death and 802 to desertions. Some of these men relocated as far north as Lima, Peru. Important to remember that back then, there was not so much of a conception of Peru being separate from Argentina, by the way. The soldiers who crossed the Andes to fight for the independence of South America, they weren't simply fighting for Argentine independence. They went to Chile and then they went to Peru. So that's why something like that could happen. Because these people did not simply conceive of themselves as part of the Argentine nation. They conceived of themselves as part of like the united sort of ex-Spanish.
That didn't debunk anything she said. Yes, we already know, people know that there was mass desertion, but we also know that there was people being sent there as cannon fodder. Because again, Argentina fought a bunch of wars. This is reference to one war. They fought a bunch of wars where the majority of their army was black and was used as cannon fodder. This is one war. One war. Shout out to everybody in the building. Make sure y'all hitting the like button. Crazy.
Colonies of South America. And she refutes this claim. And George Reed Andrews, in the book that she cites here, also goes into more depth on the fact that there was never a disproportionate rate of black deaths in the military. In fact, if anything, roll calls show that white people died slightly more. She also refutes the disease narrative here as well, saying that other myths for the lack of black representation in Argentine culture have focused on the outbreak of disease, especially yellow fever in 1871. Some argue that many black Argentines were unable to move out of heavily infected areas of Buenos Aires due to their poverty and they succumbed to disease. This too has been debunked, as data shows that outbreaks did not kill off the black population at higher rates than other populations. So she's just herself engaging in erasure here, because the things that she's saying happened, like these people died or whatever, they were intentionally targeted by the state to be killed, didn't actually happen. Now, she makes a claim next here that I had never heard of before.
That did happen. It's just that, again, there was just more white people in the country than there was black people. It's just like in America. It's about proportionality. If there's 100 people of this group and 30 of them die, but it's 3,000 people in another group and 300 of them die, which group was affected worse by it? Which group? Which group? But yeah, let's keep it going.
Or in my life, like, this is an original. This one is legitimately her own work, and it's very impressive.
Paint, blancamiento, the whitening. From 1880 to 1930, Argentina literally engineered.
Are these the people who engineered whiteness? Are these the crazed Yakub's disciples?
Oh, he's arguing against the one drop rule in reverse. Because for all you don't know, Latin America has a one drop rule in reverse, where if you got some white blood, you're technically not black. You're some type of white, or you're on the mixed spectrum, but you cannot be black. So he's arguing against that. Spoiled Empanada is arguing against that. He's saying that she made that up, that the whitening is something she made up, something that exists in every Latin American country, from Mexico all the way down to Peru. She made that up.
Of Yakub who engineered whiteness, or is this just a random fucking picture of scientists you got off Google images?
Whiteness. The Constitution blocked African and Asian immigration.
The Constitution blocked African and Asian immigration. Now, what if I told you that never happened and she straight up made this up? The Argentine Constitution actually gives immigrants some of the greatest rights to immigration.
That's a lie. We already debunked this. Like, is he a shield? He's not a shield. Nobody's paying him to do this. He's just a racist. Terrible video, already been debunked. But yeah, let's keep it going. Let me let him just talk.
In the world, irrespective of anything to do with themselves. Argentina has never in its entire history had any law directed towards preventing the immigration of any group in particular. The only time that such laws ever existed were under the Spanish Empire, and those were laws that restricted the settlement, ironically, mostly of Europeans, because the Spanish did not govern their empires as settler colonies. They only wanted those who they deemed as necessary to migrate mostly. But in the history of Argentina as an independent nation, no such laws like this ever existed. She straight up made this up. Now, there's a commonly cited part of the Constitution of 1853 that says, I quote, "The federal government will foment European migration and it will not restrict, limit, nor charge any tax on anyone who enters Argentine territory." Now, that first line implies positive discrimination for Europeans, but it does not imply restriction on non-Europeans.
Look what he just said. He just said it doesn't exist in the Constitution. Then he just read it, and now he's saying that, it just applies positive discrimination. It doesn't restrict anything. It just says we're gonna just make it our business to get as many Europeans here as humanly possible, and don't charge them or anything like that. But that is nowhere does it say that, well, black people can't come here. It didn't say y'all couldn't come here. It didn't say other people couldn't come here. It just said that, we just gonna favor Europeans. Like what next? What's the next argument you're gonna make? That separate but equal wasn't actually racist because it's because everything white people had, there had to be a black version. So there couldn't have really been any discrimination because black people got everything that white people got. It said it right there in the law. So technically speaking, were black people actually being discriminated against if they by law got they got a black version of everything white people had?
European migration. So she's straight up lying about what this says. And the next part you might notice is not limited to Europeans. It straight up says the government cannot restrict or tax any immigrant who comes with the intention to work. There's also further
with any intention to work. You see, that's that trick word, that trick bag in there. Anybody who came with the intention to work. But as you know, we just seen in the last video, the dude said that in Argentine society, they said black and indigenous people don't work. They're lazy. They don't work. So by definition, that's ground to discriminate against a black person for moving into Argentina. Because they're going to say, well, you're not here to work. You're black and blacks don't work. They're lazy. So you can't come in. That's the trick bag right there. That's the context right there. You see the weirdo? You see the weirdo-ness?
Parts of the Constitution that state foreigners are entitled to all of the same civil rights as citizens. They have the option of obtaining citizenship after residing for 2 years continuously in Argentina. Those two laws in combination that I just cited, they have actually been interpreted very literally by the courts to give a massive range of very exceptional rights to migrants in Argentina that I'm not sure if there's another country that has a migration regime that has been as open historically and now as Argentina's has. There has never been restrictions on the immigration of anyone in particular. In fact, the courts have interpreted the Constitution literally over and over and over again. Every single time some right-wing American-backed government tries to challenge these provisions.
Again, blaming America. And again, the courts interpreting something does not change the original intent of how it was written and what it really means. We watch courts misinterpret and boldface reinterpret laws all the time. All the time. While saying, well, it should mean this, or we should look at it like this. And it's always later after the fact. Like, how was Jim Crow taken away? Because the court reinterpreted what another court had interpreted 100 years ago. Can't make this up. Imagine working this hard to try to prove Argentina isn't a racist country and then somehow black Americans are somehow equal to racist white people.
they lose in the courts.
And failing this hard. And failing this hard. And failing this hard. Like, again, you didn't cite nothing you said. You're just saying that. You're just saying that. Like, come on now. You're just saying that. But anyway, matter of fact, I know what I'm gonna do. I know what I'm gonna do. Matter of fact, let's watch this real quick. Shout out to everybody in the building. Y'all in the building? Yeah, let's watch this real quick.
That it's not racist. Argentina thinks that it's not racist because Argentina thinks that there's no black people.
In Argentina, blacks do not exist. That's a Brazilian problem. That was Carlos Menem, then president of Argentina in...
So who is that? So who is that? So again, we making it up. People quoting the Constitution, they quoting the president, they quoting Argentina history. They got black people who are black Argentinians, Afro-Argentinians speaking for themselves, but everybody lying. Everybody lying.
1996.
It is said that it's the whitest country in South America, that it's the Paris of America, of Latin America. Argentina is not white. If not, I wouldn't be here.
But Menem didn't invent this myth. He was repeating a narrative built over a century of deliberate racial erasure, because history tells a different story. As early as 1588, enslaved Africans arrived in what is now known as Argentina. Between the 16th and 19th centuries, more than 200,000 enslaved Africans were brought to the region. A 1778 census found that approximately 1/3 of the country's population consisted of people with African descent. In 2022, less than 1% identified as Afro-descendant. So where did they go? Some historians point to disproportionate black conscription in Argentina's wars and a devastating 1871 yellow fever epidemic, though others argue these were secondary to the deliberate policy of erasure by the state.
Also, yes, there's debate about what exactly did it. See, nobody actually just said it was just the wars and it was just the yellow fever. In fact, right here, you got people arguing that, yeah, that played a role in it, but that wasn't the main contributor. So it's the debate. There's no debate about whether Argentina is responsible for an erasure and a genocide of the black population. The only debate is how exactly did it happen? Not did it happen, but how did it happen?
In the late 1800s, Argentina's leaders decided the country's future was European. They called the policy blanqueamiento, whitening, and actively promoted intermarriage and mass immigration to dilute the non-white population.
I thought she made that up. I thought he said, I never heard of that term. She just completely made that up. Liar. A simple Google search would have pulled that up. And it's the case for every Latin American country, without exception. Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, Mexico, Honduras, all of them.
I don't think that one drop of blood makes us black. We think that one drop of blood makes us white.
Around 7.
Exactly. Like I said earlier. It's the one drop rule in reverse.
7 million subsidized immigrants, mainly from Spain and Italy, arrived between 1850 and 1950, while black and indigenous people were pushed out of the public record.
The Argentinian state created a new racial category, trigueño, that means from the color of the wheat. And that made black people invisible and indigenous people.
Erasure on paper was met with violence on the ground. Between 1878 and 1885, at least 14,000 indigenous people were killed in the so-called conquest of the desert in Patagonia. In July 1924, Argentine police and settlers massacred the Quam and Macoy people who were protesting inhumane living and working conditions on cotton plantations in Napalpi. Between 400 and 500 people were killed, and it took until 2022 for it to be called a crime against humanity.
Indigenous people, they ask them, where are they from? And they're from Argentina. They're more Argentinian. In fact, they've been here before Argentina existed.
Even Argentina's most famous export carries this history of erasure.
We don't know that tango comes from Milonga, that came from African music. We don't know that. We say just it's Argentinian.
Oh, I thought Tango actually just was a random blend, and it's not actually African. It didn't really come from there. You know, maybe got some little bit of parts, but you know, it didn't really come from there.
We are here, that we didn't die in the wars, that and we are black and we are Argentinians and Argentina is black. Argentina thinks that it's not racist.
Oh, so yeah. We know Spoiled Empanada was capping. Shout out to Romario for coming through with the 5. Much appreciated. Yes, a lot of Nazis moved there. Yes. Exactly. Like, again, not just the black people, but the indigenous people too. Can't make this up. Imagine doing a whole video, somebody who cries and cries and cries about Palestine. That's another reason why I keep telling y'all, a lot of that Palestinian crybaby stuff y'all seeing is a lot of people who do that are the most anti-black people you ever met. They're the most anti-black people you ever met. Either they doing it as a way to undermine black politics in America, or the people who doing it are just hate black people. Like, imagine going this hard to defend Argentina, the racist white country, wannabe white country of Argentina. Going this hard and attacking black people this viciously for speaking out against a known system of racism and oppression against black people. Imagine. And now, mind you, this will be the same person who will attack you if you say, hey, maybe we shouldn't sacrifice ourselves for Palestinians. Or because, you know, us just saying we're not going to vote for the Democrats and we're going to look at Joe Biden and Trump as no different. We're going to look at Kamala and Trump as no different. That's actually going to hurt us, and it's going to hurt the Palestinians. They'll call you every name in the book. They'll call you every name in the book. Every name in the book. Make sure y'all shout out Romario for supporting the stream. Let's go back to this.
So contrary to a statement there that the Argentine government supposedly restricted African and Asian immigration, Argentina has always been extremely open to migrants of any type. This is, again, an American...
No, he said Tango is from Africa. It comes from Africa.
Projecting things like the Chinese Exclusion Act and the extremely rigid American racial laws that persisted up until like the fucking 1960s onto another country. Argentina, post-independence, did not have racial laws of that character, did not have segregation, did not have anything like the Chinese Exclusion Act. So she's just lying here, lying to have her audience of fellow ethno-narcissist Americans look at this and be like, damn, look at those fucking racist Argentines. I'm sure glad we're not like them, when if anything, Argentina has been significantly less racist throughout its history than that country has.
To be honest, Argentina was pretty successful in its whitening of society, because how many of y'all are surprised to see this many Afro-Argentines in this video? And that's the thing. People look at Afro-Argentines and assume they're from everywhere, but here. So what does it actually mean to be black in Argentina?
It's like this many, and there's like, for one, this is about a dozen people. And for two, I guarantee you most of these people are descendants of fairly recent migrants, if not fairly recent migrants themselves.
Look at that. Again, you just spent this whole video arguing that there was no racial black people. Argentinians don't see themselves as white. And there's black people there. There was no genocide. They're just still there. Now you're saying, well, oh, those people are recent migrants. You're literally promoting what she just said. She just said you'll be shocked not to see this many black people in Argentina because you think that it was an all-white nation the way it promotes itself. You would think they came from somewhere else. You just said, oh, it's not that many people. And yeah, they came from somewhere else, most likely. You see this? You see this? You know I'm careful for that. I can't let no devil pull nothing like that over. They can't pull no fast one over me. I'm not falling for the banana in the tailpipe. That's out. You literally just try to say, oh, you try to undercut her both ways by saying, well, that's not even a lot of people. And yeah, they probably came from somewhere else. I bet you. Shout out to 24 in the building. Peace. Shout out to you, bro. Shout out to Baca in the building. Oh, shout out to Diasporian in the building. Oh, we already know. We already know. We already know. You already know. Tomato, 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 tomato. Exactly. Proving her point. Expired empanada. That's exactly what he is.
Rather than being descended from the Afro-Argentine population that she's referring to here in the 19th century. And that's fine. In Argentina, unlike in the USA, as the Constitution says.
No, that's not fine. See, you're trying to delegitimize the whole point she was making about how Argentina, a racist, is black population. And then here you go and be like, and you try to engage in that same erasure and you try to say, well, it's no big deal. If it ain't no big deal, then why would you even say that? Why would you even say that?
Says you are entitled to citizenship after 2 years of residing in Argentina. So these people absolutely are Argentines, but her implication here is that, like, you know, these people are being hidden or something, and that they are actually descended from the original group of black Argentines from the 19th century, but they're not. And the reason why I'm saying they're immigrants is because in Argentina, there was no segregation. You know, there wasn't this phenomenon of like black people only wanting to.
All right. So again, if there was no segregation or whatever you were saying, why are you still trying to argue against the fact that they most likely are the descendant of black Argentinians that go back to the slavery in this nation, in that nation? Why are you so busy trying to argue against that? Why are you so dead set on arguing against that? You keep trying to make this argument that these people came from somewhere else. You're making the racist white Argentinian argument. Because when people keep saying, oh, Argentina is not a white country, they look at all those black people there. What do they say? Oh, they just came here. They just got here. We a white country. They just moved here.
Marry black people, or being forced to only marry black people, and white people doing the same, like in the US. So over the course of 150 years, when there has been relatively little black migration, but a lot of European migration, that original population of 19th century Argentine black people is not super visible today.
Today.
Un hombre negro, una gran responsabilidad, ¿sí? Para luchar por mis derechos, por los derechos de nuestras naciones, y dejar el camino lo más abierto posible para acabar con el racismo.
I gotta say, this ending part here is extremely dishonest, because what he said there was a very general statement against racism. He made a general statement there against ending racism in general, in all nations. Nuestras naciones, he said, which means our nations, right? And this is being twisted into like a statement against Argentina specifically. And this same fucking person has videos on her channel where she talks to black migrants to Argentina who fucking confirm this. And she's trying to paint them as like being descended from the 19th century population in that other video. It's so blatant.
Sí, sí. La mayoría de nosotros, sí, absolutamente.
Like, these are Cape Verdean immigrants. You can especially tell that someone like this is just.
First of all, what does her talking to those immigrants, black immigrants who came to there, have to do with her talking to those other black people? That's like somebody trying to discredit the existence of a black population in Canada because they do have a channel talking about black issues in Canada. And one of the videos happened to be about black immigrants into Canada, and another videos happen to be about black Canadians who was there since slavery. And you try to use the fact that, hey, you got a video talking to black Canadian immigrants. So that disproves that there was no that those other black people you were talking to as black Canadians descended from enslaved people, that's not real. And again, this bozo, spoiled empanada, might actually be Argentinian. That's why he's going so hard like this. That's why he's going so hard like this.
Sort of following the trends, because basically her entire brand is like going to other countries and like trying to appeal to like an audience of like ignorant Americans by trying to link those countries' history to like domestic American race issues.
It's all the same. Black people are being affected by white supremacy. White supremacy is a global thing. It's not different. Because again, would you make this argument if somebody went to country and linked all the Islamic phobia going around the world? And like, well, why are you talking about Islamophobia being faced? People in the UK are facing Islamophobia, and you going to Germany talking to them. What do the Muslims facing Islamophobia in Germany got to do with the Muslims facing Islamophobia in the UK? And what does Islamophobia in India got to do with Islamophobia in Dearborn, Michigan? Like, why is somebody going around the world talking to people about all the Islamophobia they face in different countries all around the world? Why are they trying to link these struggles to try to appeal to ignorant Muslims? If somebody said that, you would be upset. You would be upset. Somebody said he's half Argentinian. That tracks. That tracks. Being racist, being an anti-black racist, being attracted to 12-year-old boys, people built like 12-year-old boys. That tracks. Yeah. I said that wrong. No, I said it right. Being attracted to people built like 12-year-old boys. That's exactly what you are. So yeah, I did say it right. I didn't say you was attracted to 12-year-old boys. I said you attracted to people built like 12-year-old boys, which is a fact. Yeah, he might be mixed. He might be half Muslim, well, might be half Arab. That's why he cares so much. That's why he keep crying about the Palestinian issue so much. Which is, again, what does that have to do with you? You're not Palestinian. So what does it matter about what happens to the Palestinians? Why are all these Arabs crying about the Palestinians like that's their issue? And he's, as somebody just said, he's half Argentinian. So he might be half Argentinian, half Arab.
It's the only fucking things that she talks about. And she seems to really like Colombia, which is funny because Colombia is a country that has much more recent and much more violent history of racism than almost any other country in Latin America, bar perhaps.
That's a lie. So now Colombia is more racist than Argentina. I don't know why I'm having a problem saying it now. It's like the other guy was. Like, so Colombia is much more racist than Argentina. Yeah. This is crazy. Exactly. You said he half Australian, half Argentinian. That tracks, man. Because Australia is a super racist country too. Like Argentina and Australia are some of the two most anti-black countries you ever been to. You would ever hear about.
It's Brazil. Here she is waving the Colombian flag in her on her website. You know, very, very proud of her Colombian heritage, very much a massive nationalist of the Colombian state. But she's not making videos about how the Colombian state targeted and massacred Black and Indigenous people for decades, killing them and then branding them as armed members of guerrilla movements when they were civilians, a practice that continued, mind you, until about a decade ago, and which the newly elected president of Colombia is clearly indicating that he wants to reintroduce. She's not saying that, is she? Because there's not a trend on social media of denigrating Colombia by projecting American racial history onto it right now, is there? Now, you know, I don't blame Colombians for that history. I don't blame Colombians for being victimized by the US-backed aristocratic elite in their country.
Again, blaming it on the Americans. Like, oh, look, Colombia just was doing racist stuff against Black people and Indigenous people because of America. It's not because of their own racism.
Over the course of decades. But the difference is for these people, they try to put the bad parts about the Argentine elite, which have been fought against over the centuries by the majority of the Argentine population, they try to pin that on all Argentines. And of course, because it's all about following a trend, it's all about monetizing whatever's the most monetizable in the moment. And no one's doing that with Colombia, but they are doing it with Argentina. So she has to get her bag by just fucking lying like a moron. And if she's going to lie like a moron, I'll refute her like a not moron. People like this have not a single original bone in their body. They're incapable of even researching what the people who have actually done the research into these things have said about them. And they just repeat what they've seen other morons say on TikTok. And these people are themselves, as they claim to be like progressive warriors for racial justice and shit, erasing the fact that Argentina, like every single other country in Latin America, is not actually a white country. Most people there are visibly brown and would be very much considered non-white in the United States, in Europe, in most places in the world. And yet this is being erased simply because morons like this want to get views for their TikTok. We do not need help from people like this in dealing with racism in Argentina, nor in any other country. We do not need smug, moronic Americans who are too prideful, too arrogant to learn about other countries on their own terms to come.
We did definitely do that. We definitely learned about other countries on their own terms. Like, we definitely did that. Shout out to the Diasporian for coming through with the 5. Much appreciated. Thank you for helping me get closer to my goal.
I mean, and try to give
Make sure y'all shouting out the Diasporian.
Us a lecture. There are people in Argentina who are working at fighting the actual really prevalent style of racism there, which is anti-brown people racism, not anti-black racism. And I don't really think that those people are
So the racism in Argentina is not anti-black, it's more anti-brown. Can't make this up, bro. We can't make this up. Can't make this up.
Appreciate you coming in here and erasing the fact that they are not only the majority in this country, but that the most problematic form of racism in Argentina is not even the one that you're presenting here, just because you want to get some TikTok views. So I actually just had to come back here and film another minute or so of this video here, because I just got suggested another one of this lady's videos, and I got absolute whiplash from it. It's one of the worst things I've ever seen. Put your seatbelts on, because this one is going to be rough.
Yeah, who's the clout chaser now? So you're going to just keep talking about her content and lying about her content. You're a clout chasing bozo. Let's get you out of here. Like, you're a weirdo. You're a weirdo. Matter of fact, we're going to go watch this one more time for the road. Let's go.
Because Argentina thinks that it's not racist because Argentina thinks that there's no black people.
In Argentina, blacks do not exist. That's a Brazilian problem. That was Carlos Menem, then president of Argentina in 1996.
It is said that it's the whitest country in South America, that it's the Paris of America, of Latin America. Argentina is not white. If not, I wouldn't be here.
But Menem didn't invent this myth. He was repeating a narrative built over a century of deliberate racial erasure, because history tells a different story. As early as 1588, enslaved Africans arrived in what is now known as Argentina. Between the 16th and 19th centuries, more than 200,000 enslaved Africans were brought to the region. A 1778 census found that approximately 1/3 of the country's population consisted of people with African descent. In 2022, less than 1% identified as Afro-descendant. So where did they go? Some historians point to disproportionate black conscription in Argentina's wars and a devastating 1871 yellow fever epidemic, though others argue these were secondary to the deliberate policy of erasure by the state. In the late 1800s, Argentina's leaders decided the country's future was European. They called the policy blanqueamiento, whitening, and actively promoted intermarriage and mass immigration to dilute the non-white population.
We don't think that one drop of blood makes us black. We think that one drop of blood makes us white.
Around 7 million subsidized immigrants, mainly from Spain and Italy, arrived between 1850 and 1950, while black and indigenous people were pushed out of the public record.
The Argentinian state created a new racial category, trigueño, that means from the color of the wheat. And that made black people invisible and indigenous people
Erasure on paper was met with violence on the ground. Between 1878 and 1885, at least 14,000 indigenous people were killed in the so-called conquest of the desert in Patagonia. In July 1924, Argentine police and settlers massacred the Quam and Macoit people who were protesting inhumane living and working conditions on cotton plantations in Napalpi. Between 400 and 500 people were killed, and it took until 2022 for it to be called a crime against humanity.
Indigenous people, they ask them, where are they from? And they're from Argentina. They're more Argentinian. In fact, they've been here before Argentina existed.
Even Argentina's most famous export carries this history of erasure.
We don't know that tango comes from Milonga, that came from African music. We don't know that. We say just it's Argentinian. We are here, that we didn't die in the wars, and we are black and we are Argentinians and Argentina is black. Argentina thinks that it's not racist.
Yeah. So yeah, I gotta go. Shout out to everybody who came through. Much appreciated. This was something I got to do today because, you know, I was supposed to go to the doctor. They canceled and they said they're gonna give me a phone call. But, you know, so yeah, I was able to do this. Hopefully I'll be able to come back later and we can get back to regular scheduled programming. But I had to do this because I saw too much anti-blackness going on. But anyway, shout out to everybody who came through. You already know the drill. If you want, one of the best ways to support is Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, but I take all kind of support, gifts, super thanks, super chat, all that. Whole lot of ones beat a whole lot of nuns. Family, make sure you hitting that like button. Make sure you go subscribe to all my other channels. You already know. But let's get into let's thank the people who came through. Shout out to Justin March, my first moderator, for coming through. He just gifted 20 memberships. Family, if Justin March gifted you a membership, make sure you thank him. Everybody clap it up for Justin March. He always come through. Always come through. Shout out to Red Pill Zulu for coming through with the 10. Shout out to Justin March for coming through with the 2. Whole lot of ones beat a whole lot of nuns any day of the week. Shout out to Romario for coming through with the 5. Shout out to Asporian for coming through with the 5. Family. Also, like I said, all support is good support. If you ain't got money to support monetarily, you can support with a comment. Comments count as support. Likes count as support. Subscribing to the channel count as support. Hitting that reaction heart in the corners count as support. Sharing the video count as support. Just watching the video also count as support. So yeah, I take all support, and all support is good. Thanks everybody for rocking with me. Hopefully I can come back later tonight. Yeah. Have everybody out. Have a blessed rest of your day. If I don't see you back here later tonight, you know, just, you know, happy morning, night, afternoon, all that good stuff. So everybody be safe. You already know. Oh, shout out to Stoic J in the building. Hit that like button, hit that thumbs up button. I'll take it all. But yeah, I'm out. So see y'all later. Hopefully have a blessed day. And on that note, family, you already know. Yeah, be well. Thank you. Thank you. You be well too. And on that note, family, peace.